Cyclists, we are here to promote a green and a clean future for us, for the current generation, and even for the generation to come. Sawa sawa. So we want to give Mr. David a better clap. And not see here, Nyayo. There is another clap that we start with one, a single finger, then you go to 2, you go to 3, you go to 4, then you go to 5. Okay? Let's start with 1. I have good learners in class. So we are doing 1 first. 1 finger. Nicodemus, I know you are a good learner. Let's do 1 finger. 1 finger, 1 finger, 1 finger, 2 finger, 2 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 3 finger, 3 finger, 4 finger, 4 finger, 5 finger. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate. So I know we did. I don't want us to work out of assumption that we know each other. Sawa sawa. So I want to do a round of introduction, and I know there's one thing that is very common with all of us here. What is that one thing? One thing? Recycling. Good. Give her a clap. We are all recyclers. If you are here and you are not a recycler, then this is a wrong meeting. Kweli ama uongo? So probably kuna meeting ingine mahali umepotea kidogo. So here we are all recyclers, and that's why we are here. So we want to do an introduction. Yes, I know what motivates us. What gives us motivation is doing our work in recycling. But I want us to do it differently. Tell us your name, and tell us if you were an animal, which animal would you relate with? If you are an animal, which animal would you relate with? And tell us the reason why. If I relate with a cat, I tell you the reason why I relate with a cat. Okay? So I want to do a quick introduction. We start with here, ma'am. You go first.
Okay.
Karibu sana.
Habari zenu. Mimi naitwa Faith na mimi niko KAWR, najua najua huyu eti na recycle plastic. Niko KAWR.
Good. Ongeza sauti kidogo. So if you are given an opportunity, mnyama gani unapenda sana na ni kwa nini unampenda?
Lion.
Lion. Why?
Inajifisha alafu inatokezea inashika.
Wow. Let's give mama a good Mr. David.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Recyclers.
Morning to you.
And fellow colleagues here in the industry. I'm Joan here from Danish. My name's David Mathu. I'm a proprietor of Polyafric Industries and a director there. We do recycle flexible wastes and do value addition to the same. And if I was an animal,
yes,
of which I am, but a human being,
yes,
I would become an eagle. Reason being, eagles are very persistent and have a lot of longevity, and they soar very high in the skies, unlike other birds. Mekasirika sana. Ukiko uko eagle, utafikiwa tu. So at the end of the day, they have a lot of persistence and longevity, and that is what I like to be associated with.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good morning, recyclers.
Good morning.
I'm Hawkins Caleb, representing Boredo West. I'm the general manager. The CEO was to be with us, but because of 1 or 2 reasons, he's not able to make it. And he has sent his greetings. Do you receive?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I think this is a good forum. At least I'm able to know Faith. No, we've spoken for so long, actually. The last time we talked, I think, was before Corona. So it's been long, and it's a pleasure meeting you. My brother over there, we were with him yesterday. Yes. So I think it's a nice forum, and I'm looking forward to having continuous engagement. If I was to be an animal, I don't know which animal to choose. On-bill, I would be an on-bill. We all know on-bill. Sijui jina yake ya Kiswahili ni gani. But on-bill, there's the story of on-bill that was about there's a time the own bill made a lot of noise, and people were assuming that that is his own problem. It's not our problem. But at the end of the day, the whole ecosystem was destroyed, affected. So that is what has inspired me, that the changes that we can make and the advocacy can bring change. Because if you don't do so, it can have an impact, a negative impact to everyone. Asante.
Wow.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I am Edwin Ochola, representing EnviroCare General Agencies Limited. We deal with the waste management, both collection. If it comes to choosing an animal, I will go with the cheetah. The reason why, cheetah takes its time to make a selection.
Hello everybody.
Hi.
I believe we know each other, most of them. And for the new guys, I'm Muhammad Iqbal. I do plastic recycling in Limuru, and we are the family of recyclers. And I believe for the betterment, and we really appreciate and thanks to Rose. They invite us. Maybe we have to come out something nice and which will be beneficial for our industry. And as animals, we are humans are animals, and God gifted us a personality. That's why we believe and thinking this is our core thing. And as David, I love to be an eagle. And why I like eagle, not now, from my childhood. What I learned about the eagle, two thinkings very much I admire and I love to be in me, and I believe you guys will also think about it. Number one, when rain started, he don't look something down. He just fly above the rain clouds, so he avoid those things. It means it has a thinking power. Everybody in this world, we have the hurdles and the problems. It's not mean we have to just hide from there. We have to face it and we have to come out with the thinking. Another thing is, eagle never eat dead animals or birds. It's always go and fight and eat alive. It's mean it's a real-time hard worker. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hamjambo.
Hatujambo.
Kwa majina naitwa Steven Mwalepo. Mimi ni recycler from Dawn to Blue International Limited. I'm here to represent Dominic Matu. I think most of you know him. So sisi ni recycler pale South B, next to Inner Chapel. We mostly recycle PET plastics, and I'm happy to be here to associate with such people because as you cannot see, I think I'm the one who is young. It's an opportunity to learn. And I think there's so much success in understanding how this waste operates and how it can benefit us in the longer term. Thank you.
Yes, one more part.
An animal. I like to be the smallest animal. I like to be an ant. Yeah. The reason is because ants are very beneficial to the ecosystem. Yeah, research has shown that ants are the animals which go extinct. Amongst bees and ants, we are almost in extinction level. So I put myself in a position where I want to be seen as a person who can change, and I want to be challenged.
Wow.
So if somebody has a big issue and they don't know how to solve it, the first person I wish they can go for is me. How can you solve this? I think we can brainstorm and find an answer.
Wow.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Pauline from Public Recyclers. We deal with polyethylene recycling, and we're on Eastern Bypass. Also, we do value addition. We're doing cheating, yeah. I'd like to be an eagle. The same way.
Good morning everyone.
Morning.
Naitwa John Luka from Jijenge Makers. Jijenge Makers tuna recycle plastic, tunatengeneza PV bricks ama carbon. Yeah. Tukienda kwa animal, naweza sema lion tends to live in a clean environment. So as recyclers, tunatoa takataka kwenye iko, tuna recycle and make something else. That we are creating a solution. Yes.
Wow.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Jedida Tanana from Meru, representing Eastern Region. I'm a recycler. I do waste. I'm everywhere. Since we started KAWR, actually I was telling people I'm doing everything. Walikuwa wananicheka sana. Bones, what. So, me, I'm everywhere. Huh? So, I was thinking about, I think in the same dream, I was thinking about an animal last night. That's why this, when you was mentioned an eagle. So, then, after that, I decided to be an ant. An ant, if you observe an ant, they build a very big mountain, isn't it? Is it called a mountain or what is it for the land? Yes. So, I was looking at it because yesterday we are at a meeting in KACC. So I was looking at this, especially our association. If we can work together, like hands, you see they work together. At times, zinakuja kwangu, naenda nikizimwagia ndawa zikufe, kwanza nazihurumia. Because you see, inabeba a very tiny kani, but inabeba kitu ya kukula. Wakipelekea there, so wakienda kuficha. So if as we can join hands together, we can work. I'm telling you, I saw somebody sent something last night, the best circles in Kenya. I'm telling you, KAWR, jana niliambia watu tutaandamana, but I think we can solve solution for our environment and waste. Thank you.
Great.
Hi.
Hi.
Manda Frashia, representing my dad, Paul Rashid Manda. Hangeza kumake, and being an animal, ningechagua elephant because it's so strong, intelligent, and unstoppable, like my dad.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Stephen Irungu, representing Jumuiya ya Mkuru. We are located at Dandora dumping site. We do collect all types of materials, including polythene, plastics, bombs, all types from that place. And we are a group members we organized ourselves from the dumping site. So we started that project. So in type of animal, I'd like to be a bee because it gathers everything from flowers and it produces something very sweet. So I like a bee.
Wow.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Nicodemus Otieno. I'm the regional representative of KAWR in Nairobi. I also work with December Waste Services. We are doing recycling of polythene materials here in Njiru. I'm glad to be part of this trip, and thank you so much. for inviting me.
You're welcome.
I also want to welcome all of you as the representative of this region so that you will be part of this good initiative that we have. Or lastly, if I was to choose, I would choose to be a hummingbird. A hummingbird is a very special species of bird, mostly in America. It is known for the sounds it brings when it breaks its wings. But the most special thing about hummingbird, if you heard the story that our late Wangari Maathai shared about a hummingbird, there was a bush that was burning, and this little bird could take a drop of water and take to the bush, and the fire was growing. But the more the fire grew, the bird continued to do what? To take the drop of water. So the impact was little, but was felt. So that is why I would choose a hummingbird this morning.
Wow.
And thank you so much.
Once again, good morning.
Morning.
I'm David Kangeve. I do work with a company called the KAWR Enterprise. I deal with PVC waste, and I also deal with every waste. And in terms of an animal, because I'm an animal, I would like to be a peacock. A peacock is a bird, when everything is well, it spreads its wing na inajifunia pahali inakaa kwa sababu ni pasafi. So I would like to be a peacock at the end.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to try this, if you can see. Just to try. It's too short, eh? It's too big.
Too long.
Okay. Start. Good morning. My name is Richard Kaibika. I'm the secretary of the Kenya Association of Waste Recyclers. First of all, I'm very happy. I know people are very busy, isn't it? Yeah, but for coming here, please, thank you very much. So, I would like to be an octopus if I was given an opportunity to be an animal, because I admire the intelligence of an octopus. It's an animal that can conform to any environment in terms of size, appearance, and even habits. Yeah, so I like that animal so much. I usually watch the way it works. So that is me. Thank you very much.
So, good morning once again.
Good morning.
Yes, my name, as I said, is Joan Maitai. I love associating with a giraffe. A giraffe has got a long neck, and when it sees trouble far, it alerts those other animals. Like, it swings its tail to alert others and to let them know that there is trouble around. So I'm that one person, when I see there is some danger ahead, I would want to let others know so that we prepare. So that is me. So I want us to appreciate ourselves. Thank you for trying to be animals and trying to relate with the animals. Let's appreciate ourselves with one. So I said, when I say hello, we say creating a circular economy and sustainable environment through recycling. Hello.
Creating a circular economy and sustainable environment through recycling.
Can you make it louder? Hello.
Creating a circular economy and sustainable environment through recycling.
Good, that's so great. So because we are behind time, I want us to move with the speed with the program. So we want to invite our Secretary General to make it brief and also to do climate setting, to get us to know why we are here, and to take us through the the session for everyone to be aligned. Sawa sawa. Okay? So let's join our hands as we invite our Secretary General, Mr. Richard Kaineka. One clap. Good. Karibu sana Richard.
Asante. Once again, asanteni sana kwa kukuja. So maybe I'll begin by saying why we were called here. And nitajaribu kukua kawaida sana, ndio? So that we communicate, and I hope you can hear me. I speak the two languages, and I have a third one that may not be right here because it is my mother tongue. But we have a national language and an international language. I don't know whether Kizungu is an international language, isn't it? Yeah. Ama ni national? Yeah. So I hope Mohamed unasoma Kiswahili siku hizi.
A little bit hard for me.
Yeah. So basically, with a lot of love for what we do, I want to appreciate all of us. I know we are not just the way we are. We have some other colleagues ambao bado wanakuja. And I want to appreciate our industry. We always say that our industry tuko busy, isn't it? We are very busy, and we are very different from other industries because of the kind of business that we do. Majority of us, we are doing our business. We started our businesses, isn't it? I mean, we are not talking about that generation industry. We are talking about most times first generation. Watu wengi wameanza hii biashara peke yao, na wengine wako kwa second generation, like the lady who represents her dad, you know. So I know how difficult it is for us to leave our premise and come and tukae hapa tuongee tu. Sometimes it's very difficult. But as the Association of Recyclers, we always encourage our colleagues to always set aside time for this, because unless we come together and have this kind of engagements, then we are not going to advance. We'll end up as one person doing something in their place only in isolation. But when we come together, we are able to help one another to see things differently and to be more encouraged. In religious matters, we call that fellowship, isn't it? When people of common interest come together and exchange and interact regarding perhaps the challenges that they could be experiencing. And that is one reason why the association came up with this program. We call it capacity building, whereby entirely we just mean to equip ourselves and to strengthen our operations by fellowshipping within ourselves. You know, we could be gifted in one side. I didn't introduce my company. My company is called Pure Planet, and we do plastics. So when I start here, my specialty is in plastics. I collect other recyclable materials, but my specialty is actually in plastics. I'm a businessman. I'm a broker also. I can sell anything from land to automotive. I can even sell land in the moon. You see, I'm a broker, but my specialty is plastic recycling. And I do this business with a lot of passion. And God has blessed the work of my hands, and I have a team of people that work with us, and we are doing all right. But I'm here because I'm optimistic. I know I can do better when we work together, right? There's a saying that says that when one is alone, they can move very fast. But when people are together, they can go very far. So whenever we make a call for us to come and spend half day together or a full day together, so people have to decide whether they want to go very fast or to go very far. Me, I would go for far because I'm a dad. God has blessed me with children, and I want to pass this baton to them when I retire, because I know time really, you don't negotiate time. Tomorrow you'll be older, and 2 years from today you'll be much older. Now I have a lot of white hair. You know, I didn't have white hair when I was born, and I mean, not all of us have white hair here, isn't it? So time is really not. We have time, and we can only use time in the very, very best way we can at this time. And utilizing of time comes with awareness that you only have today, and you can only give it your best shot today. But oftentimes we say that tomorrow tutaenda hizo mikutano za aina hiyo. For now tuko hivi, we'll go there tukifika hapo. Yeah? Nafurahia Bwana Steve sana vile amekuja. Najua where he's coming from, and I know what he does. Yeah? And I like the spirit of recycling. Sisi tuko very, very different. We are peculiar people, let me tell you. We are not just industrialists. We mine resources from waste. In fact, we need to register our activities like a mining industry. because what we are getting from waste, right? So with all this appreciation, I want to introduce this drive as a capacity building, education, communication campaign that is currently under our association, and it is being funded by ANDE. ANDE is the Aspen Network of Development Entrepreneurs. We expect them to come if they get time, but I hear one of them has some community responsibility, funeral, and we hope that maybe they'll find some people to come and attend. But we'll be having these events with them. I think some of us, we invited you during a policy working group. So maybe I'll introduce our activity with the ANDE as follows. The association has a number of challenges. Tuko na shida kadhaa kama recycling industry, and tutadiscuss hizo vitu. Tukiangalia kwa program tumeweka vitu zingine hapo. When we met with ANDE, we had a long discussion with them about our industry and the problems that we have as an industry, some of which ni vitu ambazo zinahusika na mambo ya sheria, policy. And when I talk about policy, it is more about government recognition and also the incentives or the favors, if I may call them, that comes from the government through Sharia. So it is apparent that this industry is not as recognized by the government as you would say kitu kama tourism, ama agriculture, ama transport. The government has really not considered this industry the way we consider ourselves. So the association has aspired to engage the government, kusukuma serikali, ndio create a place for our industry. And when we talk about creating a place for our industry, it's in terms of incentives, kama tax, ama kodi. When I talk about tax, we know that wakati unaenda kununua vitu kwa duka, when you buy a plastic product kama karai ama jerrycan, we don't have clear labeling kama imetoka kwa recycling ama imetoka kwa virgin product, isn't it? Because we don't have a policy that stipulates the requirement of that labeling. So those are some of the things that we would want, so that if the government was to agree to do that, then we would also request the government to consider some things ambazo tutaelezewa hapa na wenzetu. So we also spoke about awareness ya kwamba si watu wengi wanajua recycling ina create kazi. Yeah? Because we are always collecting waste and doing this, and we keep talking with our neighbors and they know that recycling is a job. But if you move from labda interior Kitui ama interior ya Nyeri, utapata kuna watu bado wanachoma plastic. Yeah? Kuna watu bado wanahakisha moto na plastic. Kuna watu wanatupa gumboot kabisa, right? But ukikuja Ruiru inarudi kwa inaenda kutengeneza gumboot nyingine. So the association pia ina aspire to create awareness, so that as more people join the industry, since even our members watapata material mingi, secondary ya kutoa material. Na material zetu ni kila kitu. Kwa ofisi pande ya nguo naona tunacheza chini kidogo. Chairman, tunataka innovation kwa textile recycling. Na kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu nguo bado ziko na value dogo sana. In fact ukimfunga nguo unless upatie mtu afae, ile nguo ambayo imeraruka ni ngumu, haina value, ndio? Yeah, so it's an area that we need to come up high. But most other materials including magunia. Yeah, kama Steve najua anacheza gunia capacity kubwa sana. Fikiria Steve akisema tukimwambia afanye biashara hapa, atatuchapa biashara ya gunia. Unaona? And I celebrate that very much because bado gunia zinatupwa, si ndio? Si tunatupa gunia? Gunia nylon, eh? Yeah. So we have members who are entirely just doing gunia. You see? So it means kama watu wamejua kila kitu haitupwi, then tutaweza kuleta hizo resources. Kama ni hiyo gunia ikuje kwa Steve, kama ni juara tulete kwa Mr. Nick, you see? Kama ni hiyo plastic ikuje kwa Kainika, all those things zikue sisi wakichukua kama takataka inatujenga. So our union with ANDE ni kwamba association itakuwa funded kukuwa na this kind of forums. Ya kwanza ni kujulisha watu kwamba watu waingie kwa recycling, especially when we go outside of Nairobi. Second ni capacity building. Capacity building ni kumaanisha maybe mimi natumia machine ambaye ni labda inasiaga ikienda reverse, si ndio? I'm just giving a blunt example, si ndio? Then out of kukutana na hii fellowship, najua machine nafaa iende forward ndio isiage haraka. So umeni-improve, umenifanya nikue nielewe kidogo venye tunafanya. Sasa ingine tunaosha material kwa hii njia, mtu mwingine amejua kuosha material na njia nyingine. Pia huyu ametufanya tukue na uwezo. Kuna mambo ambayo inahusika na pesa. Si mnajua pesa iko very expensive in Kenya. Mtu anaweza kuwa na idea kama vile Jedida amesema hapa ya kwamba kitu kama sako. Labda sako kuna vile inaweza fail affordable credit kwetu. So the core reason why we meet here is to do capacity building and to do education. So the other thing ni policy, na nikasema ya kwamba ANDE tayari we have had one meeting ambayo some of us were able to attend, ambayo inaitwa Technical Advocacy Working Group. This group imekuwa, we contributed some participants. ANDE also wakaenda pande ile ingine wakalete watu. So the people who are in the working group are people from people who are technically involved in policy making. You know, experts, eh? Then tuko na watu wanaitwa ESOs, wanaitwa Enterprise Support Organizations. ESO ni kama tuko na KCIC, wale wame engage na KCIC. Those are Enterprise Support Organizations. Yani ni idara ambaye kazi yake ni kusupport biashara dogo. Then we also have BMOs, Business Membership Organizations kama KAWR. So hao watu pia wataitwa hapo. Then kuna government body watakuwa kwa hiyo technical working group. Then tutakuwa hapo sisi na wenzangu ambao tumealika na iko open. Those ambao wako interested wanaweza ongea na ile desk ya ofisi. Sisi tunasema challenge ambazo tuko nazo za policy, alafu hawa wanazirecord, na kwa sababu ni experts from the ministry, from UN, from NGOs zingine ambazo ziko na usemi, they will record those things, alafu watarudi pamoja waseme. Kwa mfano kama hii ya VAT ya recycled products, mnaona tufanye namna gani? So watakubali ya kwamba maybe tunaweza andika kwa ministry, ama tunaweza andika kitu inaitwa policy brief. Policy brief ni maoni kwa hali ya juu kabisa ambayo inatumwa kwa ministry, ambayo ni proposal ambayo inalete the current situation. Kwa mfano kama vile tunakuwa taxed, na what would happen tukipewa exemption ya kitu kama VAT ama incorporation tax. So then watafanya those presentation. Kama ANDE, it's a big organization, it's actually a global organization. Itakuwa na uwezo ya kuenda kwa ministry kufanya hiyo presentation kwa njia mzuri on our behalf, na huenda tuone matunda wakati finance naitwa nini kitu Gen Z wameharibu, finance bill zile zinakuja, mpate tumewekwa wapi pale, because that is the epitome of our success. When we wamesema like in 2019, those who can remember, in 2019 tulipewa incentive ya import ya equipment ya machine, tukapewa duty free, si ndio? Tukapewa free VAT exemption on construction of recycling facilities. Hizo vitu they look like kizungu, si ndio? But ukikuja sasa kufanya hizo vitu, you realize that for every exemption umepewa kitu kama 5 million. Unaona? Ukipewa exemption ya duty kulete machine, give or take, machine ya kitu kama 5 million, utakuwa umepewa kama 1 million approximately, si ndio? Ama kitu kama 800,000. So they are very very important for us, na zitatupatia uwezo ya kununua kitu ambayo hatuwezi kwa sasa. Then kulikuwa na 50% in corporation tax, ndio tunaita income tax, ndio? Si tunafanya hesabu after the end of mwaka, alafu wakiona umetengeneza faida size hii, sasa hii wanakula ni 30%, corporate tax wanakula 30%. So walikuwa wametupea 15%. No, hiyo ni mzuri, ni pesa mzuri. Yaani tukifanya hesabu vizuri kama gari ya moshi, si ndio? So hapo ndio tumefika. We hope labda tutafanya vizuri kushinda 2019. 2019 ilienda, nafikiri serikali ikaona hatukushangilia. You know, serikali pia inataka politics kidogo, na vile hatukucelebrate hiyo gift, nafikiri waliitoa. I don't know how we lost that, but then around that time organization yetu ilikuwa tu kidogo. So mimi nimesema ile kitu ambayo imetuleta, we'll be moving from here. We'll have other engagement with hapa tuna meet kama recyclers. Na tumeinvite kulingana na list yetu tumeinvite watu kama 60. Na sisi ni chama yenu. So we can only do what we can at this time. We have invited like 60 of our members. Na hatujaweka barrier, tumeinvite wale wako licensed. Tumeinvite wale hawajakuwa licensed. Tumeinvite watu ambao ni members wa association. Na tumeinvite wale non-members. Deliberately, by kuhesabu kusema hii lot, invite them. Hii lot, invite them. But then mambo ya kukuja, hiyo tunaachia mtu na Mungu, si ndio? So you feel very welcome. We plan to do this in a different place outside of Nairobi. And then maybe through the guidance of the chairman and the board, maybe tutakuwa na igine ya watu ambao wako chini yetu. You know tuko na suppliers chini yetu, ndio? We have people who supply to us. Tunapenda kuwaita downstream. Na tuliona ni mzuri kuongea mkiwa hivyo na wao wakati wanaongea waongeleshwe wakiwa hivyo, because we have shida zetu ni tofauti, si ndio? Kuna mambo ya mama na mambo ya baba. Kuna mahali inaendaga fellowship tunaambiwa ukitaka kuongea vizuri na watu weka wanaume kando na wanawake juu baba Jeria hezi sema ukweli kama mama Jeria kwa wapi? Ndio. So ukitaka mtu afunguke vizuri unamweka kando. So that is why we came here together, and I think with that mimi nafikiria nimemaliza. I say once again thank you very much for the show of solidarity. Karibuni sana.
So we give him a better clap. A unique one. So we'll do like this, 1 and then, okay? So we do like this 5 times and then you do 1. Okay? Got it? Let's go 1. Let them wajaenda vizuri, but I hope we'll get it. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaineka. I think now we understand. Ama tumeelewa kwa nini tuko hapa leo. Everyone are aligned. Si ni kweli? Yes, so we want now to move to the next session. But before now we engage, because I know ANDE they are yet to come. But once they are here, they will give them the opportunity, because for the program, we are supposed to move to ANDE. So we will move to the section for capacity building. Now, this is one of the main sessions for this meeting. And before then, I want us to relax a bit. Kindly stand. Kindly stand, stretch yourself. Ensure you are okay so that we move to the next session. That's very important. Yes, you can move your hands like this. Lift your hands up, stand on your toes if you can. Call someone who is very funny. Nicodemus, do like this. Lift your hands up. Call someone. Yes, call from this other side. Call from the other side. Yes, now we can sit. Welcome to your seats. So we are going to the next session, whereby we are going to be taken through preparing our operations for EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, I believe so. So that session is going to be handled by none other but Nicodemus. Let's welcome Nicodemus with a good clap. No. I said one, a professional one, okay? Yes. Let's do one for him. Good. Welcome, Nicodemus.
Thank you. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Good morning, members.
Good morning.
Thank you. I want to take the opportunity granted by me at this office to just speak to our colleagues who are in the industry of recycling about our preparedness on the EPR. I would not say I'm a professional in this, but one sure thing I know is that I'm practicing. So kwa kizungu wengine wanasemanga experience is the best teacher. So very quickly, I just want us to do a small introduction about and I'll be very brief. I might take less than the time given. About EPR, or PRO. When we speak about EPR, what does EPR even mean? Because I believe we are many here, some of us are hearing it maybe for the first time. EPR in full simply means an extended producer responsibility. EPR is executed by the PROs. Inafanyika, or it is rolled out by the PROs. A PRO simply means producer responsibility organizations. So, just a quick rush through. I think, to my understanding, EPR was rolled out by the government through the Sustainable Waste Management Act 2022, which brought about the responsibility being spread to the manufacturers. And when we speak about EPR, we speak about what can manufacturers do in terms of the waste which they produce that is polluting the environment. So that is what I've been told to speak shortly about. And EPR, as I said earlier, is extended producer responsibility. It was brought about in the Act 2022, Sustainable Waste Management Act, to manufacturers. Unfortunately, it has not been effected up to now that we are speaking. There have been a lot of challenges in realizing EPR being rolled out to our members through the value chain. I think there have been modalities about how do we handle every actor in the value chain. But because we are recyclers, I want us to confirm that we are the real people giving solutions to the waste, which I would speak about today. So this program, just in brief, is being executed by these PROs, and just to name them, those whom I know, I stand to be corrected if there is some I might have omitted. One is PACPRO, which is a PRO. 2 is KPRO. 3 is KHAPRO. 4 we have KAWR, which is an agency. That is now our association, which is also an agency and is in a piloting stage. Also trying to see how best it can help our members to benefit from the EPR scheme. And the last one, 5th one, is WEMAC, which I think is also one of the PRO organizations. I don't know whether I have even one or two Richard can guide, but that is what I have as per my knowledge. So objectives, as I said earlier, of the PRO is basically to incentivize recyclers. PROs as organizations are now reaching directly the recyclers to give them subsidies on the quantities that they are able to convert. Currently, I think the PROs that are on high gears are KPRO and PACPRO, that I think now are rolling out their contracts to recyclers directly, because they've been able to do the link between the manufacturers and the EPR, as I said earlier. Those contracts, I think, are out there, and we probably will just share the contacts of the PACPRO and KPRO for those who do not know, so that they are able to reach them directly and get whatever benefits they can be able to get as they roll out their contracts. I think I'm not in a position of the details of how much they give and fractions they give, but the knowledge I have is that now they're working on mono layers. When I'm saying mono layers, I'm referring to the film or flexibles, polythene. That is now the focus that they have as per the information I was given, and they are incentivizing based on the types of polythene that we can be able to recycle. So on behalf of KAWR, I think our SG will elaborate, but we are doing much. We have a team, task force, that is working around the clock to make sure that we become an agency. We have registered already with NEMA. Processes are on so that we can also enroll our members directly, just like those other PROs. So when it is ready and due, I think members will be informed through our platforms so that we can benefit also as recyclers of different types of materials. I will just quickly take you through the benefits. Not benefits first, but requirements. Requirements for a company to be enrolled as one of the beneficiaries of the EPR scheme. For a company, a recycling company, that is, to be able to get benefits, one, a company must be able to keep or prepare proper data, not just proper, but a comprehensive data indicating all quantities of waste materials collected, both from post-consumer and industrial waste, after they being collected, processed, or recycled, and eventually sold to the relevant companies that are now again manufacturing, and through an official VAT. That is very important to note. These materials must be sold through an VAT so that it is very official and can be able to be audited and authenticated. That is one requirement. Two, a company also to be re-enrolled must provide a valid and a current NEMA recycling license and also the county permits. Not all these licenses must be current. This is for recycling, and not maybe you should also have the one for transport if you are privileged to be a transporter. Three, a company must provide tax compliance certificate to be enrolled as a beneficiary of the EPR. Four, I didn't take much. I know there are still some that will come with other speakers as they follow me. We are also privileged to have our experts here, who will now even take it to the professional level. But I told you, experience is the best what? Is the best teacher, because you only speak what you do. And that is what I'm displaying here. Lastly, a company must also prove its practical engagement. How do we confirm that you do this work? Initially, it was done by the association, which is called KAWR, and this process was being called attestation. Attestation ni wakati sasa watu wetu hawa watakuja kwako na wathibitishe kwamba Chiroki kweli yako na mashini, anasiaga, na anasiaga hizo vitu wamesema, na wanaandika report. Wanapeana kwa nini? Kwa PRO. So the PRO now validates what the association has approved. I only have those four for now as the requirements which may stop you from being a beneficiary of this scheme. I think, as I said earlier, my speaker coming next will be able to elaborate on how to now do what? Get those requirements. That is the system we've tried to come up with, so that you first know what you need to do, you are told how to do it, and then we now will follow up and make sure all of us are in a position to do what? To benefit. I just wanted to do a bit of elaborate role of ANDE. It's called Aspen Network of Development and Entrepreneurs. I would say that as an association, of which all of us are members, we have the privilege for the first time to have somebody who can hold our hands. Are we together? Who has voluntarily decided to hold our hands and work together with us, because some of these things we cannot do alone. They have a lot of requirements, and especially finances. And that is why I'm also standing here to appreciate our office and ANDE, for the initiative they have taken. Industry. You know, first and foremost, the Aspen or ANDE has provided the facilitation of interactions like what we have here today. I'm trying to connect ANDE and the role of ANDE in the process of EPR that we are about to undertake. They are able to organize for such forums which we have today, to probably fund them and allow us to be aware of what we should be doing and where we should be able to get those support. So for that good reason, I would like to thank ANDE so much. And as we've been told, they have also committed to run this program all through the counties, all the regions within the country, and be able to put the awareness to our members, and we make sure that we enroll as many people as possible to beneficiaries of the scheme. As you all know, all these are headed by KAWR, and as an organization working with the KAWR, who are now the spearheading this program. So I think even that one we can do a round of applause for them as we continue. Thank you so much. I think ANDE is also organizing for some advocacy through us, so that we are able to be able to forward our policy government. You know, one secret about success is being part of the policy making. Ukiwa hata unafanya kazi sana na mkubwa wako hajui, unaendana kama umesweat, lakini anakuambia wewe ng'ang'ana. Lakini sasa tunafika mahali, we are somewhere, we want the government through these organizations to consider how policies can favor our businesses. And that is a great impact that we have in this space, or rather in this industry. What I would also put before I close or I finish my presentation is that as recyclers, our challenges are so many. With regards to be it licensing, be it logistics, we have so many challenges. And maybe if we could put this to ANDE directly, we would request them to consider capacity building for our members. Because the PROs will be doing some work, we would request this organization to consider if it can probably be empowered through maybe machineries, because we are unique in our own way. What I'm doing may be the same with Pauline or Madhu, but different with Richard. We have solid plastics, we have paper. Fractions of waste are so many, but the association, we are one. And therefore, even if one can just provide a baling machine for an organization here, it can really improve our capacities. So we would wish to request that they consider in this program capacity building in terms of machineries. They consider awareness, which is very key. Awareness is so wide. When it is done, we'll get the materials. I know we are struggling, some of us here, to get materials. And the more we struggle, the more prices goes high. Kirokesa zile simu ziko mingi, unaongeza bei. Lakini wakati sasa tumepata mahali, wewe utaipata na unasaidika, hata wewe utaniuzia kwa bei ambayo mimi nitapata kitu. Kwa hivyo this networking is a great step for us. And I would just request that they consider empowerment, awareness, and also how they can maybe link us beyond the country. You know, now there's the robust discussion or conversation about climate change. The discussion about climate change is about what we are doing. Because there is pollution. Tuko pamoja, members. Pollution is brought about by what is being emitted in the environment. As much as we can't do it 100%, we are able to do some fractions to help reduce what? Pollution. Assuming all these recycling companies today shut, Mr. Richard, you can imagine what could be the situation in this country. That the vehicles, Nixon takes out every morning, my colleagues take them out every morning, they stop. We stop just recycling services. You can imagine what can be out there. So to help us grow, there is now a discussion, and it is now rampant about carbon credit. And I think this is the high time. I would request also our organization called ANDE to consider how we can be connected to these benefits. Because we are just part of the climate change discussion. What they are speaking, we are practicing. Vile sasa tujui kusema kuandika hiyo vitu venye tunavifanya na wao wanaandika wakisema. That is the only challenge. So I just to encourage members to be positive, and when such forums are called, please let us spare some small time to get to understand. Because working hard is good, but working smart is the best. So I encourage you to continue partnering with KAWR. All organizations are coming on board so that we can be able to improve our industry, grow, and even help the future, because we will not recycle forever. Sure. But we want a situation where there is what? Continuity, even if tomorrow we are not here. Sure. And I might be brief, but that's all I had for members pertaining to EPR. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Nicodemus. Those ones were heavy. Ilikuwa nzito, and I believe we've got something. Sawa sawa. So even if hatujui kuweka hivyo vile anasema hatujui kuweka, we can be hard because we are doing the real thing. Them the kizungu ni mingi, lakini sisi ndio tunafanya kazi. So I believe we can amplify what we do even through, speaking out and having forums like these ones, so that they can hear and see what we are doing. So we want to give Nicodemus a better clap. Sijui kama unapenda maua ama fish. Tukupea gani? Fish. Tumpea fish. Haya basi tumkarangia fish. Kisema tunakaranga, unaweka kitunguu, unaweka nyanya, so you do like this. Unajua vile fish inatengenezwa, unajua wengine wetu mnajua tunachanganya fish na waru. We don't do that. So fish unafanya nini? Unaweka kwa mafuta, unakausha, then after kukausha, unakata kitunguu na nyanya unaweka, unatengeneza. You hear Swahili? Bit of it, eh?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so we want to do fish. Kata kitunguu. Just do something that unakata kitunguu. Weka nyanya. Weka kachumbari. Weka fish yenyewe. Haya, pindua kidogo. Ya, patia Nicodemus. Mpe ingine. Good. Asante sana Nicodemus. Thank you so much. So we move to the next speaker. None other but David Madu. Let's give him a one professional clap. Karibu sana David.
Good morning once again, members. My name is David Mathu. Once again, I'm here to speak about policy gaps in our industry of recycling. I'll be very brief. These are things that are affecting us as recyclers. Policy gaps in the recycling industry and waste management at large. The recycling industry in Kenya, while growing, faces several policy gaps that hinder its full potential and sustainability. Some of these gaps include, number one is lack of well-structured and coordinated intergovernment agency and county governments. By this, I mean things like duplicity of licenses of our workplace or our place of work and license to transport waste. This is like from an example from NEMA. You are required to have a license to operate a facility, and also you're also required to have a license to transport waste to your facility from where you're getting it, whether it's from the aggregator to your own facility. So again, you'll find that when you go to the county level or the county government, you're also required to have a license from the county governments. This is license to transport this waste and also license to operate your own facility. So by that you find that there is this duplicity of these licenses. So for this, we also have another point that we have inter-county sales fees. Let's say maybe you're transporting your waste from Kiambu, which is Kiambu County, and your facility is in Nairobi. You'll find that you are required to pay some fees in Kiambu County and again in Nairobi County, which you find that the radius is not that much big. It's only like 10 kilometers difference, but yet you are supposed to pay some licenses. So I think if this can be addressed and we have a solution for that, our solution is that maybe we'll propose to have a unified business permit or one license to cater for these expenses instead of having like paying different licenses to the same government, which again raises the cost of doing production or recycling. My second point is that we have weak enforcement of waste management regulations. By this I mean we are yet, in fact we do not have the regulations in place. We are yet to have the regulations in place, and by this we do not have the existing legal framework such as Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022. The CS or the Cabinet Secretary is responsible to develop the regulations in consultation with NEMA, the authority, and the county governments. So the CS should put in place a council, which is like the Waste Management Council, within a year of this act, which was brought in around in 2022. So this has not happened again, which is again hindering the cost of like maybe recycling and even understanding what is needed in the environment. So that is something that maybe we'd like ANDE to consider and try and push the government to put these regulations in place. We'll be very, very happy if that can be attained. Our point number 3 is inadequate infrastructure and technology. We know that even if we were to recycle our materials today and we do not like do it with the proper way, maybe the cleaning, because some of us we deal with post-consumer waste. If the materials are not well cleaned, you know that you're not going to get a good end product. So that is a challenge, and we like maybe to see how we can get incentives to create good infrastructures and have good technology in place. Point number 4 is a lack of public awareness and education. Again, this is it's there in the Act, but we find that this Act has not been publicly, the public has not been educated quite well in the importance of recycling and proper waste management practices. This gap in public awareness and campaigns from the government means that the general public doesn't prioritize recycling and know how to engage in it. Waste management should be incorporated and also in our school curriculum to help change the behavior towards waste management at an early age. You can imagine if this Act and best practices of recycling is introduced in our school curriculum, it will change the behavior of our students, our young ones, from a very, very early age. They will know that we need to dispose well whatever product that we've consumed, and this will help bring that behavioral change growing up. So point number 5 is that we have lack of incentives. These are there are very few financial incentives, such as tax breaks and subsidies for companies involved in recycling industry. This creates barrier to entry of startups and incentivizes investment in recycling infrastructure. So, besides again having this provision in the Act, this is just like paper, but in the real sense, there's no actualization of the same. If implemented, this may boost the industry. It might not be necessarily monetary value, but at the end of the day, we can even have like tax reliefs for people who intend to like import machineries that are related to recycling. So if you're exempted for the 16% VAT, that will help to popularize the issue of recycling. And again, we can also have tax exempt for products that are made from 100% recycled materials. Those products should be promoted in that manner, because at the end of the day, you will find that we are able to even now produce more. But if my product is being taxed the same way as the person who has just made a product from virgin materials, and we are competing, and that will not become a very fair market for the people who make products from these recycled materials. Point number 6 is that we have limited integration of the informal sector. Informal sectors, this is a very crucial department where we have these people who are very important in our value chain. They help us recover the waste from the environment, because you can't be a recycler and at the same time a waste picker. One has to let each and everyone do their own job in their own department. So these people are not very well recognized by the government, and we like policies that will see waste pickers being incorporated in the system and being acknowledged, and also provided with the PPEs, garments, to help them do their work. That will help create a very smooth operation of our business. So we have another point, lack of comprehensive recycling policy. By that we know we have laws that are there and the policies that are there. These are the National Environment Policy, which exists, but they do not address the broader environmental concerns, but don't focus on the creating a circular economy. By this I mean, recently we've seen the government trying to ban products like garbage bags and also the potting tubes, which we know they are made from 100% recyclables. This is something that is affecting and even killing the morale of recyclers. Because you see, the main aim of doing this business, again, is to add value and create a circular economy. We can't have the government coming to ban products that are able to be made from full recycled products and bring in another option which is not even available in Kenya. For example, and through our association, Kenya Association of Waste Recyclers, we are able to challenge that notice from NEMA. Unfortunately, it came from NEMA, which is the body which is supposed to be championing for a circular economy. So these are things that affect us as recyclers. Because if the government is banning those products, then what are you supposed to do with these raw materials that you've collected and recycled? So that is one of the challenge. We'd like to see a policy that is going to protect those products that are made from 100%. So my other point is that import of non-recyclable packaging materials should be regulated at the entry point. Like we see, we have a lot of non-recyclable materials which are multi-layered, and you know they are very hard to recycle. So the government should try and regulate this from the entry point, where these things do not become like a dumping site for the country. We know that we do not have solution for these multi-layered materials. So if it was controlled from the entry point, it will help make easier the job of recyclers. Point number 9 is poor data and monitoring systems. We know that there is lack of data on the quantities and types of waste generated. See the relevant agencies like NEMA, Cabinet Secretary of Environment, having proper monitoring system to know exactly the waste that we generate so that we're able to plan well as recyclers, know that Nairobi maybe produces like 4,000 tons of waste. We are able to know that we should need this number of recyclers in Nairobi region. If it is another county, Mombasa, Kisumu, all those different counties, we should also have a proper way of monitoring these wastes that are produced. So maybe just to summarize, we have the key areas for improvement. Number 1, developing a national recycling policy with clear incentives for the private sector. Number 2, we have standardizing and enforcing the waste segregation at the household level. It will help to make work easier. Strengthening of the integration incentives, tax reductions and grants to the recycling businesses. And we have raising public awareness through targeted campaigns, and also introducing and enforcing extended producer responsibility EPR regulations. Addressing these gaps through the strong policies could significantly boost Kenya's recycling industry, enhance environmental protection, and create sustainable economic opportunities. Again, I'd like to thank our hosts, Kenya Association of Waste Recyclers, and ANDE, the Aspen Network of Development Entrepreneurs, for hosting us and creating this education enlightenment. Thank you very much.
Wow. Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, okay, now we can do it better. Hello, hello.
Creating a circular economy and sustainable environment through recycling.
Wow, clap for yourself. Good. So I want to appreciate David. David ametupatia, I think ameenda very deep in terms of the gaps that are in the industry. Na kila mtu anasifiri. Everyone is feeling that.
You become like a policy maker now.
Yeah, so I feel like it should be part of those that are making these policies. And if we can be heard, like the gaps that we are facing, if they can be, heard by those policy makers, we can have some significant changes within the industry. And I believe we are heading there, because actually, as he has mentioned, Kenya is like becoming a dumping site for most of the items that cannot be recycled. So if we can push this and also have like them hearing, those are in the part of making policies. If this can go up there, I believe we can have some changes within the industry. And I know, yes, change does not come easily. Change haikujangi overnight. It doesn't come within an overnight. So we have to like push pushing. Keep pushing until we see the results. So we want to give David a better clap, and David looks like anapenda maua, sivyo? So tunataka tuchune maua tumpe. So chuna ya white, chuna ya blue, chuna ya yellow. Aya, chuna kalengine unapenda ya pink. Aya, chuna ya purple. Aya, pea David. Mpea tena. Good. Thank you so much, David. So we want to move to our next speaker, who will take us through the compliance for growth. That is George Achie. George Achie. Let's appreciate him with one more clap. Good. Karibu sana, George. George Achie, ngama ni? Achie.
Any point of clarification? Yes. I'm Hawkins, representing George Achie.
Oh, sawa, no problem.
Yes,
Karibu
Achie.
sana. Karibu.
I think it's afternoon. Good afternoon. You know, from where I come, Achieng is a feminine name, right?
Yeah.
But it can also be an inherited name. That is why you see a male is given a feminine name.
Okay.
So sometimes it happens. So it is correct as it is written.
Okay, thank you.
Having said that, as we are aware, as I had mentioned earlier on, George is held up somewhere, so I'm representing him in that presentation for. Sorry, I'll just open it. Just a minute. So maybe it's also important that we get to know that what is compliance. Compliance basically comes from the word to comply. To ensure that documentation and everything is in order. So why do we insist on the compliance, especially now we talk of the advocacy and then the compliance? It is also important that we have to note that the country we are in currently, and even if you go to other current countries in East Africa, in Kenya, maybe abroad, there are also those compliance requirements that they normally do request. So why do we need to comply so that we grow? When we talk about the growth, is our own development and how we develop our organizations, our development for our companies, and also our initiatives. And why do we now say that we need to check on compliance for growth? It is very true, and most of you here will tell me, I know maybe at one point or the other, you've had read maybe from the enforcement officers from county government, or maybe from public health, that is also from the county. And the main thing that they normally check if we are that compliant in terms of the permits. And without this, it is very much evident that we cannot realize growth without a compliance. Another reason being from the consultations that we've also had across the board, we can note that even here, as Mr. Nick had put it, for us also to meet maybe other obligations, so there are aspects that we have to meet, and most of them come all along from the compliance. If it is maybe the registration certificates, tax compliance, and so on and so forth. So maybe to begin with the preliminary, we all know that the compliance documents that we need, the most common one, number one, is the certificate of incorporation or registration. You can have a business name, you can have a limited company, either way. So such also proprietorship or any other form of registration or of an. So that is the number one thing. Number two, we need to have a KRA PIN certificate, and upon registering for KRA PIN certificates, we also have tax compliance certificates that we have. You also have to get other certifications, such like if you have employees, you know, they are also NSSF. There is an HIS along. But that is just to crash through. The main one, maybe that I will wish that we discuss today. I would like to narrow it down. To two. components, that is for NEMA and the county government. So I think that is where we have a common problem. For the region, we are able to get to know on how to get certificates for KRA. You have to be filing returns. You have to ensure that you deduct, you remit, that is if it is for pay. If it is for VA, you know how to file those payments and obtain. The main issue normally comes in terms of the county government and NEMA. And now to bring us up to speed, I know we all know the meaning of the recycling, which is basically transforming a material that was otherwise as a product or something that is useful. What we mean by licensing, when you want to license something is like to permit. To give it, whichever body is licensing is just to give the permission to operate a particular thing or to run a particular project. So as I saying, so the management of recycling, in fact, most of the regulations that run along the recycling line were derived from the management regulations. This is why everything is contained. What stipulates, that is a panel, it stipulates which amount of fee should be paid for these permits. Also indicates the fines. Should you fail to comply, what liable to? For example, if I'm maybe suppose now name comes to your premises and you are operating without a license to operate. Do you know what fine you are liable to?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Yes. I know most of the times they normally come, not only us here, but sometimes they come, you say, my friend, kuja kidogo. The language, right? But it's also good that we get to know that what is the cost, because some of the officers or the enforcement officers, they tend to extort people. Maybe something that the fine is 5,000, 10,000, an officer now want to take around 20, 30,000 from you, maybe because of lack of what? Of knowledge. And it is licensed that you can only use maybe 2,000 or 3,000 to obtain, and then you operate freely the whole year. So that you don't operate like we are from our operations. It should be open. It should be something that is auditable, as we had indicated. Something that anyone who walks in, you are free. The gates are open. Let them just come in. Should not fear that when you hear there is an operation going around, that day you shut down. As I saw, for those who have come along Kagundo Road, the junction of Kagundo Road and bypass, not bypass, but which road is this?
The one that goes to KAWR.
No, not right. Just the one that is running, not 18. The main highway. Outer Ring Road, thank you. The junction of Outer Ring Road and Kagundo Road, if you check, it's like there was an operation there and everyone ran and disappeared. Maybe for those who have heard, there was mayhem, maybe from NEMA and county government and the Chokoras from Dandora. Yesterday night, today. Some of you might have heard about it, some maybe not. We have 3 companies that operate along there. I will not mention name. Yes, the Caltex area. Around 3. And now you see when the officers come, there are now issues. The county government came, closed them indefinitely. You are doing operations. You are supposed to collect waste from your clients, right? The client is calling. You are supposed to collect the plastic or garbage or whichever waste. You are unable to, because NEMA has closed you down, or county government has closed down your premises. Why? Maybe because of 20,000. A permit that would have cost you 20,000. And now look even at the image, because they are along the road and there was a lot of mayhem. Maybe for those who will be passing there when you are going back, just check. A lot of mayhem. So those are some of the reasons that is also important that we get. When we come to county government, maybe because we are in Nairobi, I'll give examples with Nairobi. I know they have different requirements and there are different regulations that the county chiefs always come up with. So whenever they come up with an act, the fees normally change. If you check, as I've said, NEMA is purely derived from the waste management regulations of 2006. But for the county government, they keep on changing. The other day you hear that today you pay, I don't know, 10,000 for transport license. The other year when you go to renew license, you are told per truck is 20,000. The other day it is 15. So it keeps on fluctuating. It is not constant as per the finance acts that they normally enact. But for NEMA, it is very clear from that particular description. So in terms of compliance, there is one license for, there's a license for site, then we have license for transport. For you to transport that waste to your site, you must have a license for the truck that is carrying waste, the recycling waste, the recycling facility. So under those two categories, I would wish there was a projection, but it's okay. You will just to check.
There is.
It works.
I think it works only that. I don't know
The background.
that background will
The background, it will not be able to show. Okay.
Oh, the screen. Eh?
I think it will because of ergonomics, the team here will have problems with the next. So I think I'll just proceed.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe just to go to speed, what are the basic requirements for transportation for NEMA and county? For you to own a license to transport a truck, these are not rocket science. There are things that we meet, there are things that are there, there are things that we can do. Let us not run away from them. Let us not fear getting the compliance that we need as recyclers, because at the end of the day, failure to comply will also hinder us from maybe getting some of these funds. Like now, when you are talking about Aspen Network of Development Entrepreneurs. If in case maybe they request you for the data, which are your permits, then you are not able to produce them. But really in the ground, you are doing the real thing. It's only that you are not able to document and produce and share with them to see your impact. So for NEMA, what we need, number one, you normally need, I think, incorporation certificate, as Dad mentioned. You need a copy of KAWR PIN, a copy of the logbook for the truck that you are using to collect the waste. You will need photos, side and rear. So the trucks should also be labeled that this one is carrying waste. You've seen them, and I know some of you must ensure that you give a plan, the site plan that you intend to do. You also ensure that you issue NEMA with a copy of the BQ, bill of quantities, of course, on how much the project is likely to cost. And in this project, also give the projection of how long will the phase, we have 3 phases of the project. We have the construction phase, operational phase, and the decommissioning phase. So at all these phases and stages, you give here a number of timeline. For maybe for construction, we are normally given 18 months or so, which is also extendable upon request. For operational phase, I know some of them run from 30, 50 years, 60, depending on the type of structure that you put. Then you also have to give outlines of the decommissioning phase. You also have to explain how you are going to manage the waste that will be generated from that point. Because we don't want to assume that once we receive recyclable material, we recycle 100%, do we? We don't. There are wastes. Of course, some are contaminated. They come out as waste. How do we manage such wastes? How do we manage people that we have at site? What are the PPEs? What are the safety measures that we have in place? How do we go about emergencies? Should there be, especially plastic, they are highly flammable. You know that. How do we manage such? What are the fire risks and how are they managed? What are some of the permits? Do you have the fire extinguishers? Do you train your employees on firefighting? Do you train them on the first aids and so on and so forth? But all these, I know it's a bit huge. So the report is normally done by experts licensed by NEMA. Me being one of them, I'm a lead expert licensed by NEMA. So we get to know all the requirements and how all these are done. So that we only come and explain to you that this and this and this is what is required, this is what is missing, then the report is done and shared for approval. And also the location is important, the site location. We cannot come up with a recycling facility in a residential area. It is not allowed by law, which we refer to, that is the Waste Management Regulations 2006. It is not allowed to operate a plant in an area that has been earmarked as residential. When we come to the costs, I know this was another important aspect. Of course, for transport costs, this is now for NEMA. And for transportation license, an initial application, the official fee costs 8,000. Then a renewal official fee costs 5,000 per truck. This is now per truck. When we come to disposal facility, for recycling facility, transfer stations, and such facilities, an initial official cost will cost you 43,000. Then the disposal site renewal will cost you 40,000. And again, I'm insisting these are official fees. There are other fees. For example, if you now engage an expert to assist you in coming up with the report, of course, those charges now depend from one expert to another. Then when we come to county government, transport cost for trucks, one truck currently is 20,000. And as I had mentioned earlier, this keeps on fluctuating. There's a time it was 10,000, there's a time it was 15,000, and we've had several engagements with these guys. Then for disposal site, the official fee is 10,000. Having said that, what are some of the challenges that we face? Number one, as I was giving the course, realize the county government is licensing you to collect waste, right, for the truck. NEMA is licensing you to collect waste, again, for the truck, for the same county. And because most of us, I know, we transfer several counties. You go to Mombasa County, there are other charges for the county. You go to Kisumu County, the same. You go to our neighbors here, Kiambu. You go to our neighbors, Machakos, Kajiado, and so on. They also have their own charges. You brand the car, NEMA requires that the cars the trucks must be branded. You brand them, you go to Kiambu, they ask you for branding fee. You go to Nairobi, they ask you for branding charges, which costs around 18,000 per year. You go to a different county, they also ask you for branding charges. So all these costs, and as we were saying, all these costs, when they could be consolidated and we have one unified permit for this, it could really help. This is an area that we've advocated for, of course, with the NEMA and county government, but because there are two different levels, because the county government, they're after getting money. NEMA is after compliance. How now do we ensure people are compliant? So realize there is duplication of work. Because the same roles done by NEMA, they're the same roles done by the county government. You check on the conditions, like my brother here mentioned, county government tells you from 7:30 to 5:30. You go to NEMA, they tell you from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. They enforce the same thing. So you see, these are some of the gaps that we need to have filled to enable us now move ahead. The other challenge is on these costs. As we had mentioned, obtaining some of these permits might be costly. And again, in terms of processing, and here is now we have the big challenge. In terms of processing, it takes a lot of time. If you just make the normal application to the system, wait for your license to come, you might wait forever. So there are also challenges in processing of this. I know some of us have witnessed all this. Yes, so, okay. Sorry for that. So let us ensure that every time that we are trying to apply for these permits, we are doing all this, we try to be compliant at all given time. In as much as we have these challenges, there are things that can be addressed, and there are also concerns that have been raised to address some of these challenges. It is just a matter of time that NEMA to act on them or the county government. The main problem again with the county government is change of leadership. We realized at that time it was Governor Kidero was the first governor, came to Governor Sonko, came Sakaja, and now you see every governor who comes with different regulations, and this normally affects our operations. Currently, for your information, the county government, the staff, I know the contractors that take West to Dandora, they are on strike. Why? Because of non-payment. They've not been paid for the services. And this is why you see there's a lot of mayhem around. Maybe you might not know, but in Dandora, if you get to know what is going on currently, my brother, I think you can know. There's a problem there. They've not been paid, so they've gone on strike. They're not taking the trucks. If they don't take those trucks to Dandora, you don't get the people who depend on those trucks to sort the waste. They don't receive those waste to sort. If they don't receive the waste to sort, what do they involve to do? They go and steal, or maybe they go get into people's property, because they must earn a living from it. So one effect, it affects all through. So in terms of compliance for growth, I think I'll just urge the members, let's try to be compliant as much as possible. Whenever we are stuck, you can always seek assistance, and that is why we are here as a team for networking. If you know that maybe Mr. Nick maybe is doing, is able to get to know how to go about the licenses, you contact him. If it is myself, contact me. If it is my brother here that know in terms of county government, so and so is good at, those are some of the networks that we need to get to know so that we remain compliant at every given time. I think I'll have to end my presentation there. There was a session for question. Maybe at that point we'll be able to pick and answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you for that, those insights. I think, like myself, I know I have several questions about the same, but I know we'll have a session for plenary discussion. Yeah, because what you've mentioned is very key to what we are doing as recyclers. So we want to appreciate Caleb. Tumpe ile ya Nyayo. Ile ya Nyayo walikuwa wanafanya hivi alafu wana. You remember that one? Kwanga ya Nyayo ama ilikuwa ya wapi? Ya Nyayo. So you give these two and then, okay, let's go one. One more. Thank you so much, Caleb. We greatly appreciate. Yeah, without wasting time, we want to move to the next speaker so that we get to the session that I know everyone is waiting for the question and answers session. So we have our next speaker, who is Margaret Kinuthia, that will take us through the sector empowerment through SACCO. Maggie. Is Maggie around? Wow, let's appreciate Maggie is here. Someone said I'll remain clapping until my time comes. Karibu sana, Madam Margaret.
Thank you very much. Yes, yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, my name is Margaret. I'm from Kiambu, born in Muranga and brought up in Muranga, the home of two major financial institutions in Kenya, that is Unitas and Equity. So I just want to talk about a SACCO, and that is KAWR SACCO, because that is our SACCO as recyclers or people who deal with waste. The first thing that I want to start with, I want to talk about what the name SACCO means and all the rest, and I hope you shall be together. So when we talk about SACCO, we talk about savings and credit. So in this case, we have what we call savings, and then from there, we have what we call getting loans, giving credits. We have a SACCO that we registered last year. I know most of you knows about it, the KAWR SACCO. And the KAWR SACCO, it involves on the members that we target as the board. There are those people who deal with waste. And we talk about those people who deal with waste. We have those people who are doing the recycling. We have people like us who are doing correction. We have other people that are also doing, I think our chairman normally says the aggregators, isn't it? So it is all composed of all those people. And one of the reasons why we came up with that idea of the SACCO is because most of us, you get ones who want to buy maybe machineries, maybe when you want to go and buy the goods or the materials, sometimes we get short of cash, and we normally go to the banks where we get the loans. So the KAWR SACCO, which belongs to the members who do the waste, walionelea ni vizuri tuwe na SACCO ambao watu watakuwa na save pesa yao, alafu later on they are being given loans so that they can be able to expand their businesses. Now when you talk about the SACCO, it is all about the members. And so we have the law in Kenya that governs the cooperative societies, like the same way the banks are being controlled. And you have the Cooperative Societies Act, CAP490. CAP490, it talks about the SACCOs that are in Kenya, and that is the laws that was passed in the parliament that guards the SACCO. Now, when you talk about the SACCO, we have the main objective, as I said, and the main objective of every SACCO in Kenya or every SACCO in the world, it is to organize and promote the welfare of the members through economically and social way. So in our KAWR SACCO, we want to get money that will be able to encourage us all that to be able to build our businesses. And for us to have that money, we have one thing, we have to start saving. And to start saving, that is where every member that want to be in this SACCO shall start saving money, which will also be given as loan to yourself or other members in the SACCO. So we decided that in our SACCO, we shall have a deposit of 5,000 each member. Once you pay the 5,000, you'll be able to become a eligible member. An eligible member must be 18 years and above, must be a Kenyan citizen, and must be in the business of waste as for now. Maybe in future we shall expand as we grow. Because even the SACCOs that we have, most of them started with the members that are within that business or people who are being employed by that certain company. And then from there, they expanded and started getting members from other fields because they have grown to be big SACCOs. So in our SACCO, we shall start with 5,000, as I've said, and then from there, we shall start saving. The 5,000, which I've talked about, which is now the deposit, it is money that you deposit, and that money cannot be withdrawn, but it can be transferred to another member. And then from there, we shall be saving the savings every month or whichever way, but we prefer that each and every member shall be saving on monthly basis so that we can be able now to have money and our SACCO can grow. Then from there, we have what we call the principles of the SACCO. The principles of the SACCO, one, it means that the members will not be forced to be members of the SACCO, or the recyclers will not be forced to be members of the SACCO. So we say that it is voluntary membership. From there, we shall also have what we call democratic member control. Democratic member control, it means that each and everything that shall be done within this SACCO, the KAWR SACCO, it shall be controlled by the members. And the members shall be able to control this SACCO once we have our general meeting or when we have our special general meeting. That is where all the decisions for the SACCO are being made. and all the members who have become the members of the circle, they are able to come and bring their ideas and the way their circle shall be governed. And that is the reason why you are saying the circle shall be democratic and member controlled. And then in this circle, we have what we call equality. Once we become members, every member has got equal right in that circle. It doesn't matter whether you are a committee member, it doesn't matter whether you are whoever, but each member has got equal right, because what has brought us together, it is what we have already deposited as a circle. Now, from there, we have the members' economic participation. When I talk about members' economic participation, it is where each and every member has a right or obligation to bring money so that we can be able to make the circle grow. So each and every member is entitled to contribute money so that we can be able now to expand the circle. We also have the circle fund. The circle fund, I know most of the people are asking, now if you start this circle, where are you going to get this money? The circle fund is what we have brought as shares. The circle fund is what we have deposited as a deposit. The circle fund, it is what we have been given as donation or gift. The circle money is what we have already attained after giving the loans from the interest. And then lastly, the circle money, it is what we retain after maybe giving the dividends or whatever we have received from outside, and that is what we call the reserve fund. From there, after forming out the circle and having the money, we start giving out the loans. I know most of the people ask, how do we get this loan or how do you give these loans in a circle? Once you have the money and you have accumulated enough money that you can be able to give out as loans, we have a committee within the circle that we call credit committee. The credit committee, they are the people who are responsible for giving out the loans. And these loans, they are given according to one's shares. You cannot come and deposit your 5,000, I'm 10,000, and then the next day you come to the circle and say you want 100,000. And in most cases, the circle, they normally give 3 times whatever you have saved, but on one condition, the availability of funds. I know most of the people who go to the circles, they normally say, I have applied for 100,000, but I was not given that money, and even my shares they qualify to get 100,000. Remember, this is money that we have accumulated as members, and this money is normally paid on monthly basis. If we decide that we shall have a monthly advance, which is paid on monthly. So we give loans according to availability of funds, because this is something, or I can call it a basket of our own. These loans, there are various types of loan. You can get a development loan, where you can pay within a period of 2 to 3 years, depending on the growth of the circle. You can also get educational loans. If you have a child in school and you want school fees, you can also get an emergency loan. Maybe you have gone somewhere, you have seen there are some materials that you want to buy, you don't have enough money, you can just come in your circle, get an emergency loan, go and buy whatever you want, and maybe at the end of the month you shall pay that money. Or kuna kitu imetokea kwa ghafla and you want some money, so you can come to the circle and get the loan, and it will assist you. Now, what is the difference between a circle and a bank? That's where I am. A circle is somewhere, as I said, is where you bring your resources together. But a bank, it's where you go, maybe you have an account there, you have a balance, a good running balance, and then from there you are given a loan according to your account. But a circle, first of all, you have to be a member. Even those big circles you see around, like Unitas and the rest, you must have your deposits that you have put there so that you can be given a loan. Now the advantage of that deposit, it's what we call the interest. When you go to a bank, you get a loan, you are charged maybe 18%, you are charged 20%, or whichever amount you are charged. But then that interest, if you are not a shareholder of that bank, you don't get that money. Is it true or not?
True.
Is it true? Right. Yeah, I think I'm not fast. You don't get anything from that money you pay as interest. But once you're in Sasako, because there's something that you have kept there as shares, once that loan is being paid, hata kama ni wewe money mwingine, when that money is paid, hesabu ya mwaka ikifanywa, or the audit report or account, you get what we call the dividends of what you have already deposited. So that is one of the advantage of a circle against what? A bank. The other thing, when you go to a bank, there are so many processes. or bureaucracy. You can go and fill a form for a loan, and then maybe you can stay even 3 weeks or 4 weeks without getting that loan. Alafu, maybe you can be told, okay, you have filled the form, but tumeona this and this and this, so you don't qualify for the loan that you wanted. So with a SACCO, whichever circumstance, because you're already an owner, once you come and fill a loan, you are normally given a loan according to your strength. Now, the strength is what you have already saved in the SACCO. The other thing, we have the interest. When you go to a bank, as I said earlier, you get an interest which is very high. But a SACCO, it has a maximum interest that is being charged. And in most cases, it's between 12 and 13%. And this money, you pay it on reducing balance. When I talk about reducing balance, what do I mean? Once you get 100,000, then the interest goes down as you pay the loan. So that is the advantage of the SACCO compared to the bank. The other thing is about the financing. Once you have your own SACCO, you can get donation, you can get money from somewhere else, and once you get this money, you are able to give to the members, and these members can be able to buy whatever they want to expand their businesses. So when you compare a SACCO and a bank, there are two different things, because a SACCO, it will assist you, while the bank will not assist you. So as the members of KAWR, they came up with this idea of forming a SACCO, because we noted that there are so many problems that our members are facing on financial issues. And once we have our own SACCO, we can be able to have the control of our money. We can also have people who are able to expand their businesses. And we can also help those people who are down the pillar or the pyramid. For example, we have our employees. These employees of ours, nasikianga mtu akika nakwambia, they normally call me Madhe, I want some advance. Or whoever, or the boss, I want my advance. But once we have the SACCO, these members will be able to access money which they can be able to empower themselves economically. We also have the people that we got to collect goods for them. You are sure those people got to buy materials from them. Nasikia kama mtu anakupigia simu nakwambia, just give me an advance or maybe 20 or 10,000 because I don't have money to operate. But if you're able to push these people and become members of the SACCO, they'll not be bothering us. Is that true? Because they'll be coming to the SACCO and they'll be getting money from the SACCO, which they'll be paying on monthly basis, or they can take an advance that they can be able to pay within a month. So that's what I have for today. So I would request the members, we take a step. We join this SACCO because tomorrow it is going to assist us, and we shall remember that we formed a SACCO, or those people who are handles, they formed a SACCO that made us to be able to expand our businesses. In summary, I can tell you that I had an opportunity once to work with a SACCO, and that SACCO, it was for the tea farmers. And these farmers, they could raise, per year they could raise 500 or 1,000, but these farmers, they were able to do big things. They were able to educate their children. Some of them were able to build even houses. Some of them, they also started businesses, and they were able to expand their businesses. For example, I can give you an example of one man, where I went for a field day in a KTD factory. He was the last person to talk to me. And when he came, he just came and asked me, I explained to him, and he decided to join the SACCO, and he started with 2,500. And this money, they are not paying that money cash. They are not like us who are having the money, because if he said to pay money for the SACCO, he can pay. So this Mzee came and paid 2,500, which we deducted at the end of the year. And we stayed with that Mzee. He continued saving and saving and saving. And by the time I was leaving that institution, believe it or not, huo Mzee alikuwa na minibus. From 2,500, alikuwa na minibus. Because he continued saving. Every month, akakata pesa kidogo, every month, and he was able to build a shares, which was able to buy for him a minibus. So I can encourage the members who are here, let us join this SACCO. Let us take it like our child. Let us make it grow, because one day we shall come and remember we started the SACCO, which made us to expand our businesses, which made us or which empowered us economically, and we can leave it to our families and they'll live to remember. Asanteni sana. And to conclude, I'm the vice chair of KAWR SACCO. Thank you.
Wow, no wonder you are just flowing in what you're doing, you know. I like the way you're bringing it with passion, and I pray that we'll all support the SACCO. Sawa sawa. How many of us will support the growth of this SACCO? Wow, that is very great. It's good to have a place where, I think David mentioned of also capacity building on supporting our members even to have the modernized machinery. You know, the old machines, they are not efficient. Sometimes they even bring high cost of production. We all know that. So if you have some pool kind of a resource where we can even borrow and pay slowly, because I think as our SACCO, I know it won't have like, it won't be like a burden like working with a bank. So it's good we support and we nurture the growth of this SACCO and we'll enjoy the fruits together. Thank you so much, Maggie. We want to appreciate you with a better clap. So similar to the one that we did for Caleb, but now for us, we'll do like this and then instead of a clap. Let's go. One more. A third one. Thank you so much, Maggie. So I know that those that came after we had taken tea, sorry, it's already close to lunchtime, but there's some tea behind there. If you feel you can have a cup, there's no problem. But I want us to move to the next session because I think it's good we finish and then we go for lunch as we depart, instead of going for lunch and coming back. I request we do that. Yes. So we want to move to the next session, and I think my time in front here has expired. I want to hand over to Mr. Richard Kaineka to take us through the next very important session on questions and answers. Kindly open up. We are here to empower each other. We are here to help one another. Ask as many questions as you have. And I believe when you have the answers, you'll also become a better person in the industry. So let's put one professional clap for Richard as he comes. Welcome. You also give me a clap. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Joan Maitai. I am very blessed to belong here. I'm telling you, we are making history. We are making history, right? Yes, recycling is a very big industry, but not here in Kenya, but in Europe and overseas. Hii yetu hapa Kenya tunafanya chini ya.
It's an honorable business.
It's a noble undertaking. Only people who are very humble can do recycling. Yes, because people are going for big things, you know, banking, you know, grocery and farming. But as we are going into waste, you know, we are very noble people. Sisi tunafaa tupewe title as serikali. Yeah, so thank you very much, Joan. I wanted to talk something about you, but because of time I will not, but I'll do that next time. Joan is a jewel in these matters, and she has been so good to us. She's been coming to our office to help us. For those of us who know KAWR, inakuwaga ile ya kusukuma, kupiga gumi yende. Unajua the donkey that you have to whip. Yeah, but once again, we really appreciate your time. You know how valuable you are, you know? I mean, who can pay you for the time you have taken here, Mr. Nick? But I like, this is patriotism. Because we are investing in tomorrow. This is wisdom. Yes, people chose not to come. Maybe they are wiser than us. But in due course, we will help this industry to rise up and to be recognized by the government. And we may not do this forever. People will come. Ikishika moto watu wataku. But for this time, tafadhali, tungangane tu. Let us be relevant, let us speak for the organization. And wacha tukizeeka tusemage we started this fire. I always like to talk about Kenya Association of Manufacturers because they always sit across the table. Whenever we have a stakeholder engagement, you always find Kenya Association of Manufacturers sitting on the other side of KAWR for good reason. Because they produce the majority of the waste that we interact with. Still,
it was started by patriotic Kenyans, majority of whom are not even locals. I shouldn't say that, but I think it's important. Majority of Kenya Association of Manufacturers are industrialists, right? But they looked ahead. 1959, Kenya was not even a republic. Those people who were fighting for independence were still 50-50. Either tutapata ama colonialism itaendelea. But the industrialists of 1950s, they had a vision that one day we need to have a voice that will speak for our industry. So let me tell you also that we are a bit late. But Mzungu says that never, better late than never. So let us be encouraged. Let's not look at it like this. So again, we look at Nick, or we look at Mr. Mohammed, and then we say, you remember Yakina Mohammed. So they say, they know how much they get from that. Sometimes what sometimes there is no. But these are burdens that God has put in us to do this for tomorrow. I think those who did what they did for other older organizations, they didn't do it for money. They did it for austerity. And today they protect their space. And I think, in short, that is.
But just an encouragement for us, having come here and gotten up to this point, that please, next time, make a point of coming. Maybe you may not get paid. Maybe your goat will untie itself, alafu iende kwa jirani. You know, the work that you do may not go exactly as you want today, but we are investing in the right place. So I've come to take the conclusion and the questions and whatever. I don't know whether you have questions, but we started off with Mr. Nicodemus, and he was talking about the EPR. Maybe just an outline. EPR is an incentive. For us, it's an incentive. It's a free money or boost. But from the government position, it's a law that if you are producing, you have to make sure that you collect that waste. So his agenda was, how best are we supposed to prepare our operations so that we tap that opportunity? I want to say that through the organization, we've been able to do a pilot with one of the PROs, and it was successful. It was successful, and although it had some bottlenecks, but now we are more ready than before. I think Mr. Nick took us through what we need to prepare. But over and above everything, one of the very difficult thing he said was tax compliance, right? That's a document that we get, meaning that we have a clean bill with the tax money. People fear. And I've interacted with Watuetu, a number of my colleagues. I remember during the first pilot project, we were going to get people. We knock at your door and say, sisi tunatoka kwa Recycling Association, tunakuja kukuambia, we have a program ambayo iko na pesa. Then we speak, and then somebody says, nitawapigia simu, I'll tell you. Then we go to another one. Hey, when Nick? Yes. Mimi naitwa John Kariuki. Yes. Najua mahali unafanyia kazi. Yes. Najua unafanya kazi na these things. Yes. Do you know there is an opportunity? This talk. Then some walikubali. Some took the conservative place. Ya kusema, let us tuone kwanza. You know, free money. You know, free money is very suspect. Sindio? Yeah, so it is not really free money. It's an entitlement to those people who are doing recycling. Legally now it's an entitlement. I have no reason absolutely for a person who is being, I have very good friends who have been doing polythene, for instance. Polythene is a diapers. They just collect that naturally from the time I've known them. But they don't want to come mahali kuna mwangaza, hypothetically speaking. Right? So as an association, much as we are not entirely we are not pro-government per se. We are not saying that we are not political in that sense, but we support compliance. We support compliance, as Mr. Boredo just told us, it is important for us to comply. It might be difficult, but the best way to engage with the government is to, when lipa license, tuongee baadaye. And we don't support the charges, but we support compliance. We are business people. Some of us have paid, and that is why we used examples of our very own members. People have paid for the licenses, but they did not close their operations because of the cost. Yeah, so we encourage people to comply, so that if we have such requirements, because a manufacturer will not be willing to pay you kwa njia ya mpango ya kando. You know, for instance, you don't have VAT, or you are not eating. Was it ETIMS or ETR, whatever? You are not compliant. So this organization that has this incentive does not want to work with you because you want to operate ukiwa informal. So we really want, and this program funded by ANDE, we want you, the purpose is to make sure that more of our members are coming up and complying, paying for those licenses, however expensive they might be. The organization has a program. Mr. Hawking, maybe he said that he's an expert. We make a call to all experts within our circle to come and provide an incentivized service to our members. Currently, we have one that is doing 15,000. We call it expert services. I know some of us were engaged in that lady. I don't remember her company. I don't know why she was not able to come. So if you engage with her, she's supposed to help you as a member of the association on a subsidized arrangement, so that you are able to get the license. Now I see we have other experts. Maybe you also have some colleagues. Anytime we get that call, we want these people to come together and tell us, me, as Kainika and my company, Pure Planet, I'm willing to give you expert service on these rates. Because we also try to make it very easy for our members to access, because we know kuna watu wanalipa hata 8,000. I've seen somebody who paid over 100,000 just to get the EIA license. You know, people, when you are not informed, people can really take advantage of you. That is as much as EPR is concerned. That right now we are struggling. We are building a database, and I know the ladies on the desk there must be working on that. We are putting together a database so that we are capturing where you are located, your place of operation, so that whenever NEMA wants that information, we can work with them. We also capture people who are not compliant. But then we need to hear from them. How do you want us to engage with the authorities or with the county government? But more than that, kama vile nimesema tulikuwa tunaita watu wakuje waingie kwa program, we are encouraging people. Because EPR inasema ile waste ambayo imetengenezwa, kama hapa tuko na 30 bottles, waste bottles, ndio? EPR itakuwa ya 30 bottles, na hiyo bottle iko kwa hiyo kona na hii. Now when she is here, she is licensed in this location, ndio? We need somebody else to collect from that other location. So it's not like we want just 10 people who can eat all these 100 million. That is not how we are looking at it. We are looking at compliance that cut across the whole geography. Because imagine a producer anapeleka vitu kutoka Malindi mpaka Rokichogio. Si hivyo? Like these big brands. Those people, to get compliant, lazima afanye collection in Rokichogio and also in Malindi. Those who are coming to us, we have to tell them, do you have members in Rokichogio? Rokichogio, no. So awareness creation, tunaenda Rokichogio, tunaambia watu wakuwe members. Tukikuja pande ya producer wanataka collection, tunawaambia tuko na David ako Kakuma na anachukua, ama tuko na Baba Boy ako Damsite anachukulia huko. You see? So that is our pride. Sisi tunataka watu wakuwe wengi, na tunataka tuweze kufanya kila kitu vile inatakikana. Kama ni license ikiwezekana, God willing, chairman, and through the circle we are looking at transport circle as well, through Truckers Association. Mr. Nick is spearheading that initiative. Tuko na circle ya saving, like what we have had introduction. We are putting these packages because only our organizations can understand our business. Me, I'm in a circle, and I know you are also in a circle. Mimi niko kwa circle ya misitu, inaitwa forestry, samaki, kitu kama hiyo, ni ya serikali. But it doesn't understand what I do. Even tukienda kwa mkutano niseme mimi nafanya waste management, wanashindwa huyu mtu nani amemwoshea nguo, you see, because people think waste management ama ni mkora. Nishaambia mama mwingine hivyo tukiwa kwa I said that one, tukiwa kwa retreat mahali, nikaona mama ameangalia simu yake ameiwekelea mkono. I was sitting next to her and I really felt, hey, huyu amenibeba vibaya. See, so people think that we are prone to crime. And waste management without crime, how can that work? You know, I mean, hata kama labda uliokoka ama umeacha, but you must have been involved in crime at some point. See? That's how people take us. And I've been to levels where people, mtu anakuangalia anashindwa, how is it possible that huyu wako kwa waste management na kwanza vitu zake, mambo yake inakaa kama iko sawa tu. See? Because they honestly they think that you have to be a poor person to work in waste management. You see? Lazima ukuwe driven by poverty. Yes, they don't think that you can be innovative in waste management. Yes, and clean money can operate in waste management. And they may not know that until we come up and tell them, ni sisi. We are the ones. Yes, and some of us, tulikuwa nafanya kazi mzuri tukawacha ama tukafukuzwa ama ikakuwa venye ilikuwa, but we are still proud where we are. So these small institutions that we are trying to put together, because we are affiliates with the circles, for instance. Our industry, much as we need new trucks, we need to construct, we need to buy land and other facilities, our banks don't understand waste management and recycling. So who will understand us? We need to form our own bank. We need our own banks. Yes.
It is possible.
It is possible. Exactly. It's possible. She talks about unite us.
Yeah, in the world, there is a discounted money.
Yes.
It is a lot. Especially now, they are serious about to reduce 1.5 Celsius temperature bring down.
Yes.
Because all the world economy is in danger.
Exactly, carbon credit, and I think Mr. Nicodemus called on ANDE to consider extending the project to carbon credits and whatever we can get from that, because we know there is a lot of money. But it's only about planting trees, isn't it? But people need to know that, I mean, it cannot only be planting trees. We also do garbage collection. Can you imagine the waste, the level of pollution that a heap of organic waste would cause in terms of messing with the ozone layer? You know, the methane that it is producing is enormous. I mean, it beats, planting a whole forest. But how will they know unless they are told? And who is going to tell them? That's a Bible verse, isn't it? Yeah.
If you will not knock the door,
if we don't tell them, how will they know? That the waste, the organic waste that we are taking into the door is generating a lot of greenhouse gases. And that is creating a lot of heat in the environment. And we can mitigate that through garbage collection and sustainable waste management. We cannot all be planting trees. And I have nothing bad against planting. I like planting trees very much personally, and it is just natural. But that is not our mission here. Our mission is waste management. And we need to have an audit done so that we are also compared, our activities in waste management is also compared with the tree planting and afforestation. If I am able to handle a ton of organic waste sustainably without creating GHG, greenhouse gas, how much does that compare with the planting trees? So that we can also lay claim to the carbon credit finance. Same case as plastic recovery and diversion back to the economy. We are the masters of the circular economy. The circular economy cannot be without recyclers. If we begin to stop our operations and go to farming, how will the circular economy really function? It cannot. So in short, what I'm saying is that we need to be more strong, we need to be more encouraged. We may not really harvest today. Some of us may not really see the fruit of what we are doing. But those who are coming back, because we are also fathers and mothers, you know, and we love our children, and we love what we are doing. I'm doing waste management without duress. Maybe if I'm given a job differently, they might not be able to meet the money that I make in my little operation. So I might not even siwezi chukua hiyo kazi. If I'm called to be a veterinary doctor, labda nimesomea mambo ya vet, niambiwe nitalipwa pesa fulani, alafu nisikie serikali naye inataka kukata mnajua vile kunaenda watu ya payslip. Labda hamjui, but iko very serious. You make 100,000 before you touch that money, 30 inaenda ikiwa kwa mkono ya karani pale. Before sako na before mambo ya insurance iende. Yeah? So hii maneno mimi inanifurahisha sana. I like this industry. I want us to be encouraged. I want us to support our organizations. If today we have a circle, please, kama vile Madam Chair amesema hapa, tuko na wafanyakazi, ndio? Tuko blessed, wengi wetu tuko na watu ambao sasa wanafanya kazi, si ndio? Let us use that channel to grow our organization. Maybe hizo pesa za carbon credit tunaweza pewa through the your association hii haiwezi pewa. Hii organization ni non-profit, haiwezi receive pesa ambayo mtapewa. It doesn't take money ati alafu inapatia watu alafu wanarudishiwa. We cannot run a revolving fund as an association. But a SACCO can comfortably, kwanza kisheria, ujue serikali yetu imerecognize SACCOs kama banks. And only our SACCO, na nimesikia Charity akisema mambo ya development loan, amesema mambo ya emergency loan. Zamani hivyo ndio SACCO ilikuwa. Naomba Chair, kama tukienda tutafanya package tofauti ambazo zitaresonate na industry yetu. Tunataka tukue na package kama za kununua machine, ndio? Package za kununua lori, package za equipment za safety kwa kazini. Those are the things that we need, so that we also look unique in the eyes of those who look down on us. Then ofisi ya SACCO ikiwezekana, tafadhali mjue fundraising kitu ya maana sana. Mtafute hiyo pesa ya carbon whatever, na wale wako na, sisi tunafanya kazi within ourselves. Kama unajua mahesabu, please volunteer yourself, ndio? Kama unajua mobilizing, please that's what we are doing. Hatujaanza kulipwa. Volunteer yourself. Kama unajua mobilize, volunteer yourself. Let us make organizations that when we look back 100 years ago behind, wanasema hii mwaka ya 2000 and whatever kulipewa, Mungu alibariki watu na njia ya kuja pamoja. If we fail totally. Tunaenda kwa mikono ya bank, na you know how merciless the financial institutions zimekuwa lately. So mimi bila maneno mingi nasema ni asante. Kama kuna swali labda nitaachia hapo, tukue na swali. Kuna watu walikuwa wameambiwa wafanye introduction, nafikiri nitaachia hiyo alafu nirudishe bado kwa moderator. Asanteni sana.
I thought my turn was over, but it's okay. Thank you so much, Kaimeka, for those sensitive ones. Yes, I know we are going far. We look back and say we started there. I remember the other day I was joking with Richard, and I saw the association when it was being born. I remember we were meeting at some place, Kariobangi. They were ilikuwa tu meeting twingine you could ngedharau sana, you know. And coming from a very big organization, and you are told to represent the organization to that meeting, you start wondering, is this a meeting that I was told to come? And I'm happy for the steps that we made as KAWR, and I'm so much also passionate about what KAWR is doing. It's in my heart, and I feel part of this team. Wholly fully.
All of us, we are success stories.
Yes.
Very humble and very lower ground we are reach over here.
Yeah.
It should not be let out of us.
Yes. And
still we have the challenges, but see how from far we come over here.
Very true. Very true.
Give us energy and strength.
Yes. You don't quit. Quitters are not winners. So you don't quit. You keep pushing. Because I know at the end of the day, you rejoice and say, I'm happy for the progress that I've made. So I know that those that joined us late, before we take questions, if you have a question and you know who you are supposed to direct it to, kindly just mention the question, and maybe if it's about EPR, if it's about the compliance, if it's about the SACCO, the person who made the presentation will respond to the question. But before then, there are those people that joined us when we had made some introduction. So kindly I request you tell us your name and you tell us what were we saying in the introduction. The animal that you relate with.
Yeah.
The animal that you relate with. So we have Maggie also, you also joined us later. So Maggie and the rest of us that came later. So we can start with Maggie. Then the others can follow.
My name is Margaret Kibunia. Kafanya biashara Vita. You're garbage collectors. And you also have a material recovery facility. With all those things that are normally corrected, plastic, paper, everything, actually.
Wow. One more part. Which animal do you relate with, Maggie, and why?
You are to choose an animal. Which one would you choose?
Oh, an elephant.
Aha, why? Why an elephant?
Because it is strong. Yeah.
Wow, let's give Maggie a clap. Yes, my sister. Afternoon.
We are located at we deal with plastics and for the animal part I was not prepared, so maybe next time.
No problem, let's appreciate our yes.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon too.
I'm Waweru. We operate a Thika, where we do garbage collections and aggregation sites, and part of Muranga because we water Muranga, and part of Nairobi. For the animal is lion because it never quits.
Wow. A clap for you. Good.
He looks like cowboy old movie hero.
Wow.
That's right.
Yes. Next, our sister. Oh no, they did. I believe you're also part of us. Although you are seated behind, kindly. We would want to see your faces. You can come just closer to us and we see you as you introduce yourself.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Fantas Gurua.
Can you see him? No. Oh, you smile with me. Okay.
My name is Fantas Gurua. I work with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Wow. Let's appreciate him. Our sister there.
Hey, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Naitwa Nyambura Mburu. Nafanya na idara ya mawasiliano, that is KBC, and Show FM. We were supposed to talk about
an animal you relate with.
Insect still is an animal, right?
Yes.
A mosquito.
Oh no, yes. Why? Why?
You see, only a female mosquito that can bite you. Aware of that?
I didn't know.
So, how do you know that I'm female? Nitawasumbua sana. Hata that's me.
That's interesting. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And Sarah? Sylvia, tusalimie. Na utuambie you relate with which animal?
Okay.
Afternoon. Yes.
Okay, I'm Sylvia. The animal I like most is an elephant. Even though I'm kissing an elephant, it's not like that where we meet together, share information.
Wow. Let's appreciate Sylvia. Thank you so much. I know the media team were busy, so let's assume. I don't know whether to assume or to let them also say their names. Yes, kindly. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Kindly introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Josephine Stika. I come from Utawala. I work for Jack Tech Communication Systems.
Yes.
The animal I relate with is the lion. It is courageous and fearless.
Wow, you said your name is?
Josephine.
Josephine. Wow, let's appreciate Josephine. Thank you so much for reminding me that you are here. Sorry for that. The people that are doing the real thing, tell us your names.
Yes, my name is Jackson, working for Read Media, and the animal. Yes.
Yes.
I think I'll go with the ego.
Ego.
Yes. You know, when the ego grows old, it sheds off its feathers. When it sheds off its feathers, it becomes new.
Reborn.
It's just like recycling.
Oh,
it
no.
recycles itself.
Wow, thank you. I didn't know that part. Yes, our brother back there.
Yes, good evening.
Afternoon to you.
My name is Zaira, the CEO of Read Media. We are based in Thika Town. We involve ourselves in productions and documentaries and artifacts. As for the animal, I think I'll go with you. Kai comes from Gare. That thing can survive anywhere. No matter what. Thank you.
Wow, let's appreciate you. Yes, finally you, brother. Hi.
Still my name, Read Media. I'm the producer. Let's go with the hair.
Hen.
Hair.
Hair.
Can see.
Yes. Wow, let's appreciate him. I hope I've left none. Thank you so much. So we want to move very fast to the questions. If you have a question, it is your time. Like myself, I had a question. So yes, you also had a question. So we can, I think we can start by raising hands, asking questions. The right person will respond. Yes.
We need a very short introduction about your organization. Myself, I don't know very well. And also, and the most important part of the question,
yes,
how you can help our organization of a waste and a recycler, how you can take us on an international canvas to represent us.
Thank you for that. So I want to, let me now make a broad kind of an introduction. My name is Joanne Maitai. I've worked with the different organizations in the space of waste management. Currently, I've been working with the Danish Refugee Council for a project that has been running for 3 years. So, but my contract is ending end of this month, because it was a 3-year contract that started in 2021, and it's ending end of this month. So I've been working with the KAWR closely, and there is a sensitization forum that I pushed for, and Danish Refugee Council funded in Mombasa, because I so much value what you do. And during the project implementation, Kenya's Union of Waste Recyclers have been very instrumental even in the project for Danish Refugee Council, and I've considered them very key to the implementation of that program. And even Danish Refugee Council knows what KAWR is doing. I've also worked with the hand-in-hand, extensively hand-in-hand Eastern Africa. We've also worked closely with you in that project. And yes, KAWR is known wherever I go. Wherever I go, KAWR must be known, because I'm so much in love with what Kenya Association of Waste Recyclers is doing. So I also have, let me say, I work in the advocacy kind of an area, working with the different waste collectors. I've mentored so many waste collectors in Nairobi. Like there's one that is very successful, Anaitwa Rooney. If you've heard of someone Anaitwa Rooney, I held his hand and I supported him, and as we talk now, he's a big aggregator. Not only Rooney, so many others. So my passion is working with those lower stream or downstream, supporting them also to come to a level of probably even getting to recycling part, and supporting the entire sector in the waste management industry. So you asked how I can support KAWR. KAWR, I'm in it fully. I support KAWR. I'm a member of KAWR, and I support KAWR in all aspects. In whatever capacity that I'm able to, I work with KAWR. Yes, that is me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Then we can now move to the questions. Nicodemus, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you.
John, I have just one question to my colleague speaker, Kanye Hawkins. When you are taking us through the requirements on licensing and audits, experts carry out audits on firms or other companies. But after that one, you realize that there's other audits as well. And in the space of recycling which we are interested in, if an expert carries out an EIA report or something the way you do, the following day somebody comes to do fire audit, the following day another person comes to do the, what do you call it, health and safety. Occupational health and safety. Why can't you also consider as the audit to do a unified audit so that you can represent as indecent institutions instead of you doing yours and the following day another person will come to does his and in that order? Because even these other people are just private auditors, they are not from the government. Only that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicodemus. Do we need to take all the questions first, or we go one by one?
I think so, because we might have almost similar questions.
Yeah. So if you have any other question directed to Caleb, kindly we can place our questions. Yes.
I have a question. It was on the requirement about the sample tracking document. I just want to know to get the clarification. In this tracking document, are you supposed to put it on your company letterhead? And another thing, on the part of license number, which license number are you supposed to put there? Is it for the NEMA or is it the driving license for the truck operator?
Thank you for the question. Any other question to Caleb?
Yeah.
Yes, kindly.
Mine is on the time of transportation. Our license is 66. The cars who are on our side, we are usually very big victims of police. Because I'm transporting material from one another side. And even if you live at home, before you reach the car, traffic jam is constant. And why it's not maybe for us who are from Kempu, we have at least an advantage of the support from the county government. Because Kempu ukipelekwa kwa kini na mambo yao instead. Like kitu kama hiyo direct cause au sasa na mambo hiyo pusi start. Pusi start. Because how do we expect the gap of this 610? Police anashika gari. But now the question is that one of the reasons we have been arguing with police is about the paper plastic waste. And they get confused. From what confusion? That's you. So the question is that there was an issue with the Sustainable Waste Management Division to divide part of the secular as not waste. Because if you are transporting plastic, transporting nylon, then I'm told I'm transporting waste. Is it waste?
Sure.
Then the question is that this expression would never purport or never particular. Because I've had that from you, I've never had that from another person. But you can ask the expression. Because I think all of us, like a very good example from Kenya. We have only one dumpster. And part of the transporters from the upper remove, unatoka huko saa 10. Before you reach at the dump site, this past time. So even we have to agree with the county to be around to operate at night. Because you guys don't have dump site. So never won't take you if you ask for a station. If getting a license is a problem, then getting an extension.
Thank you. Any other question for him? Yes.
If I just want to what my colleague has just raised, extension clause, is it official? As you answer the question.
The question is, I'm in Mayo County. For instance, in a truck, but when I want to transport anything, nylon plastic, then I normally use these transport trolleys. And when you come to the way bridge, okay, wakisimamisha hapo, for example, tumebeba MT, tumebeba kama tani mbili, tani moja na nusu, PET the same. Kama umefunga kidogo hata 100 juu, ule mtu amekatia gari yake amekata yes. So wale wanakuuliza hii gari haifai kubeba waste na ni ya transport. So nasikia mtu anakutishia, madamu kama uleti pesa utaenda koti na fine more than 50,000. Unatishio hapo. How are we going to work? For those who have no truck, sio kila mtu ata-afford truck. Na hizo gari by the way za transport wako hapo kubeba mizigo yoyote. Ukiangalia license yao umeambiwa unabeba what and other inputs. What is that input? Unajua sijaelewa ile kizungu hapo. Tusijasoma. Na hao ni kama wamesoma sasa hivi, hao wako hapo wanakukoroga hivyo.
Thank you. I like the way you put it. Any other question to Kale? Yes?
Mimi naitwa Steven. Nataka kuuliza hii license tumesikia inachukua muda kabla upate ukiapply. Unaweza tuambia ni muda gani inachukua? Ni kama muda kiasi gani itakuwa? Na je, unaweza kata license ya transport kama una gari utumiange kwa dereva ule unaandika kukomboa. Kikomboa driver can you use unaweza tumia hiyo license ya transport kwa hiyo driver.
Thank you. Another question? Yes, yes.
So my question is on the licensing. Being in an association, I believe the license is up from the association its members. So Kenya Association of Recyclers is dealing with recycling companies. The recyclers main issue sometimes getting a license. And unajua ukienda kama an individual, and these challenges posed by these guys. So if we can maybe try also by the registration, getting a permit. What if we now use the association to push for these licenses? Maybe kama tunasema 10 recyclers, their licensing will be getting renewed on the 1st of January through the association. So when you're getting the certificate of the membership, you're also getting the license of operation. Is that possible?
Thank you for that good question.
Yeah.
Any other question?
I think one more.
Yes, Nicodemus.
This is to Madam Kinoria. You have introduced us to a circle. Well, a number of us are here members of the circle. What role can circle play in transport of waste, especially when you want some unified kind of system so that members can use the advantage of the circle to get waste transport licenses? Or even if not immediately, but you can now advise it.
I think our chairman has talked about the forming of our transport circle. Not actually transport, but not transport circle, but KAWR can be able to help the members so that maybe our trucks, they can have maybe the stickers or whatever, so that we can be able to transport our waste without being disturbed along the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
I request Maggie, you note down your questions.
Yeah.
Whatever question that is directed to you, you note them down. You can finalize with the compliance part. Then in response to the questions, and then you can shift to the other presenter. I believe that will work. Yes? Yes.
Okay, me, I heard about the support, but I don't know whether it started. So how do we go out joining?
Thank you. Whichever question you have, just post it to the right person. It's open. You have a question on EPR, a question on the presentation that was done by David.
My question is on the MRF.
Yes.
I've been doing a research from where I'm from. Maybe in Taita, I'm from Artificial Accounting, especially speaking of Maharashtra Accounting. So, there's a recent MRF that has been launched there, but it's not yet operational. How can now Kenya Association of Waste Recyclers
take that advantage of our engagement facility. Go with the team. Okay, this is our guys. Okay, have a plan guys instead of just putting it there.
That's yours, color? You can respond to that. Yes. Okay. Now, before we finalize on your part, I also wanted to ask one more question. Actually, two. You mentioned there is the challenge of duplication of some kind of policies and licensing between NEMA and the county government. And I don't know what you're doing about it, because yes, it's a challenge that is affecting most of the recyclers within the industry and even the waste collectors. So is there anything you're doing, or we accept it as a challenge and we just keep silent about it? And then secondly, I wanted to know, if you want to set up a collection or maybe a transfer station, take us through the entire process, or whatever process we are supposed to undertake for you to get to a point of now being licensed to operate that transfer station. Thank you. Yes?
Due to caps, because every other time police come to our factories, they're asking for caps.
You also respond to that, I think. Yes. Any other question for him before he responds?
Going to Sasako.
Yes, yes.
Maybe you have a police, maybe you have a Sasako. Let's say, a blame the government.
Thank you. Any other question? I think you are contented. Then we can now start with Caleb. Caleb, it's your floor. You've got so many questions.
So many. Good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon.
I hope you are able to see my face.
Yes.
Okay. I think I've recorded about 10 questions. To start with the first one on how to merge the gaps that exist in terms of compliance. And we were saying at times you get duplication of requirements, because remember we have NEMA, they check on compliance. We have Occupational Safety and Health, Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health. We have county government. So sometimes you realize that where sometimes we go wrong is the advice that we get from the experts that we contract. If you contract someone who is not competent enough, he might not give you the best advice on how to go about some of these compliance issues. For instance, when you talk about the EIA or the SPR, for you to conduct that EIA, it is a requirement. Actually, the safety, health, environment is a subtopic in the EIA report. So it therefore means for an expert to come up with a report and submit to NEMA, it must have the aspect of occupational safety and health. What kind of PPEs, for instance, are you going to use? What is it required of your employees? Do you have first aiders on site? Do you have trained fire marshals or firefighters? Do you have trained? Do you have the OSH committee members? So these are some of the things that the experts that we contract should be able to advise us on. The only thing that I also have to make clear, Mr. Nick, is that there are two different entities. We have NEMA and we have Occupational Safety and Health. That is Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health. They are different, but these audits can be, though they are done differently, but one person should be able to leverage everything and share together, and also ensure that it is done together. Because they are all audits, though they have different certification, but they are all audits. Someone who does this for you should be able to incorporate the two. This is something that should happen. So my advice is that whenever you engage an auditor, ensure that you have a competent person. Because this is a case that we also had with the NEMA board. And sometimes they also claim, there's also those who claim to be registered, or those who even fake documents. We've had cases of people getting fake licenses. They only go to River Road. No, River Road has a bad image already. I'm not trying to make the image look bad. But you know what happens in River Road. Then you duplicate a license. You take license maybe for December West. You only check the name of whoever the license was issued to. That is changed. I've had cases. There are even clients we've seen, there are people we've seen also from NEMA actually, that have duplicated. Some of our licenses for Bored have been changed. You see the name has been changed, then something else is given. If you check the license number, because they have reference numbers. The current license for NEMA of late today, they don't put the seal, but they have that code, that barcode that you can scan and authenticate the license. They also have a seal just to differentiate, because the initial papers they were using to print licenses could easily be traced. They were found. They could easily be traced. So the auditors that we contract, if we ensure they are competent enough, then this can be done. But yes, it is possible now to have one person to assist you in doing all this. It is a team. Like now we are here as members, right? We have someone maybe who is good in this field, another one good in that field. Let's take an example of an organization. You see, you have an accountant, you have HR, you have maybe whoever is representing safety, you have the environment team, but they all work for one given company. So this can also happen that maybe one person, but through the same person, it has a team that is able to now do all this to relieve you from such issues of ensuring that, oh, you look for this person, look for another person, look for another compliance, so that you all put them under one roof. The second issue is terms of, it was on requirement on tracking document. Tracking document, if you check, there's a schedule, maybe I will have shown, but I don't know, I will share in the group, for those who are in the group. There's a standard sample on how a tracking document should look like that is. It is a form that is prescribed in the Waste Management Regulation of 2006. If you check the regulation, I'm not sure of the subsection, but the regulation, it gives provision and the format on how it's supposed to have to look like. The reason why it is recommended it is put on the letterhead of the company is for traceability and now to make it maybe now look different, because it is one document to everyone else. Take example of the national ID. It is the template is the same, right? But what changes maybe is your photo and the name and maybe date of birth, place of birth. But if you check the template, it remains the same. And the same form that NEMA has in place, so that once you have your letterhead, it now makes it unique to you. It does now not become same to everyone, because the template is the same. For tracking document, actually you're not supposed to come up with your own. You're just supposed to uplift the form that is in the regulations, Waste Management Regulations 2006, and then now maybe you by customizing is now by having your details, the company details on the document. In terms of the license number, that in terms of filling the form, the license number is supposed, when you get the NEMA license, because tracking document is generated at the point of collection. It is a document that has to walk along with the truck. When the truck collects waste, for example, from Nakuru, it has to be generated. That is why it has details of the truck, the time of collection, the type of waste the truck has carried. For those of us who also maybe handle hazardous waste or maybe collect, you have to indicate which type of waste is it that you are collecting. And by doing so, the truck must have been licensed, so it should have the license number. The license number is written, it's just written, there's application number, then there's license number. If you check on the right corner of the license, you will be able to see there's a number that is always written there as a license number. That is the number that you should indicate under the licensing number. The other question was on the timeline. I think I mentioned it earlier on lightly, the time for transportation of waste. You know, the law, the problem you have is that once the law is passed, we have to abide by it. And if there, for any reason we need to do something different, then we can apply. I've seen, an example is Mr. Green. Mr. Green, you know Mr. Green, right? He has an extension of time. And he gave reasons why he needed that extension. And he was given a letter. I'm just not able to show that because of privacy data, but he was given a letter to indicate that the time has been extended. And of course the reasons were given and the limitations. Upon extension, the specific waste that is supposed to transport. If it is plastic, specifically plastic. And by transporting plastic, because we have other regulations. If you go to Kenya National Highways Authority, they have their own regulations. So if it is plastic, then it should not go beyond the body of the truck. It should be within the truck level. the truck should be well labeled, and they're supposed to carry that particular permit that is issued. So yes, it is possible to issue permits, but you have to give very good reasons why you need that time extension. I think that is answered. The other one was on the trucks. Understand sometimes you see maybe there's a truck that comes from Mombasa. Maybe there's a truck that collected goods from Mombasa to Nairobi and now returning to Mombasa. And or maybe collected goods from Nairobi to Mombasa is returning to Nairobi, and maybe you want to take advantage of that truck, maybe as a cost-saving issue, to bring back build materials for recycling. I still insist is the requirement that the truck has to be licensed. So if you have a specific truck that normally you can use frequently, you can go ahead and license that truck so that whenever you use that truck, it does not have trouble on the road. Because the police, there's a clause that they know very well that they look at. They just want to confirm, are we really compliant on that? So it is important that, as still insists that let's license that truck if you use it frequently. But in case it's not frequent, you may use it, but now at your own risk to transport the same. Because it is very clear on how that is supposed to be transported. So for those also who don't own the trucks, the NEMA gives a provision that when you don't own a truck, you can still license it, but there's additional information you'll provide. That is a truck lease agreement that indicates the owner of the truck has authorized you to use that truck to carry that particular waste. It has to be signed by an advocate. Advocate, yourself, and the owner of the truck. Once that is signed, then you attach the copy of the license. It is acceptable. You can get that license under your company's name. So that one is acceptable. You don't have to ensure that the logbook must read your name or your company's name. You can still lease a truck so long as you obtain the right document for that particular. Apply, they take forever. It still goes me to my first comment that if we choose incompetent people, then you might not make it. Because sometimes you realize all these things I look at are very keenly. They are documents to be attached. If you leave even one document, then license will not be processed. So you have to ensure that all the documents are well attached and well presented. If you send, for example, maybe you have applied everything, you don't own the car, but you didn't attach the agreement, it will not go through. It will appear as pending. So we have to ensure that everything is done. This is something that we can do for ourselves, but if you feel maybe you need assistance, then you can now engage the expert. Application of all these are things that you can do for yourself. But the reason why you see most people prefer to engage the experts is because of, number one, you don't need to consume a lot of your time, it is not your line, and there are those experts who are trained on that. Number two, in terms of follow-up and the rapport that is there, is also something that contributes. And maybe number three is because of getting to know what do I put, what do I not put. The same way in the KAWR, you see there are tax experts. Because we are not experts in tax, you could bring someone to do for you the tax experts, but otherwise these returns you can file by yourself. True or false? True. It's true. But now we opt to engage tax experts so that we don't go wrong anywhere in terms of that compliance. So that is why sometimes you see other applications take longer than it's supposed to take. And the other aspect which I'm not going to speak about is because we live in Kenya, and sometimes you apply things, you wait forever, they never come. I will not mention that because it is not official. The other question was the possibility to have an association, maybe now to assist in terms of licensing. This is possible. I think that is one of the reasons why here. If you check the manufacturers for bread, you know they have an association. Manufacturers for bread, I think they are the first to join KAWR. And whenever they apply for plastic clearance from NEMA, they'll not be asked that you must provide a tracking document from a contractor or a disposer or a recycler. So long as you are a member for the bread industry, you know, so long as you are a member of KAWR, then you are able to attach the certificate, then it's automatic. You will not be asked about other things. So it is possible, and when we come together and we unite, it is possible, so that maybe we ensure, if NEMA is satisfied that amongst us we are doing the right thing, and we have qualified and the right people, maybe the leadership, they know that we also have maybe the experts and are able to guide us on the process, and we also attach the experts license and all those requirements, then we can petition NEMA, and they can be able now, once they see maybe one of our members, they say, oh, these guys are compliant, because you know the structure that is there is very elaborate and it's able to comply. So through that, NEMA can maybe now by application not be asked several things like attach tracking documents, attach I don't know which documents. So long as it is you are a member, then they'll know by being a member you are now compliant. So that is possible, but it's an uphill task because we have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that we have to work on that. The other one was on MRF in Mwatati, Taita Taveta. I'm glad. The last time I was in Taita Taveta was about 3 years ago. Actually, Mundanyi is in Taita Taveta, right? Yes, I've been at Mundanyi and I slept there. I got there late, slept there. I didn't finish whatever it took me to do there. I was going to conduct an audit, but I did not manage to finish, so I had to sleep there and conduct the following day over the hills of it's Mwatata. Mundanyi, I mean Mundanyi. It's a very hilly place. So, if there's an MRF, is it owned by the county government? The county government. Okay, if it is owned, I think, because these are some of the facilities, and maybe sometimes the reason why you see people not rushing into these facilities by the government is because of the politics in quotes that comes in. In fact, sometimes it is the politics that is making it's the major challenge in waste management. You remember when Nairobi there was an investor for an investment at Ruai for a waste to energy plant. We all know that project. It was fully funded. Why did the project collapse? Because of the politics in quotes. The interest. People have various interests. You might start a very good thing, but someone realizes. Have you also noticed why if you go to other areas you realize there's the water line, but the people living in there don't have water? Because simply somebody sank a borehole somewhere nearby and is supplying with the water bowser, he fears that if everyone is connected to this water, then he's going to lose business, right? So maybe his long term, he had projected that in the next 20-30 years, he'll be winning big from the borehole. But here comes a new system where there's water with everyone. Will people get that water? I'm telling you, this person will not sleep day and night. We'll do everything possible to ensure that that project is brought down. And that are some of the reasons why we are not able to have the waste to energy project. That's why Dandora we still have the same problem, because Dandora is was not even designed to be a dump site. We all know the history. It was just a quarry site during the time, the developing time, that you are now mining a lot of materials there now to do construction. So that is how it became a dump site. It was not a designated dump site. Because even if you check the standards of a dump site, it does not meet any qualifications. So in that, I would say it's an opportunity, yes, maybe of getting the recyclable materials. But maybe the reason why it might not fully realize the capacity is because of some of the reasons I've mentioned. I don't know how about other counties work, but these counties are the same. It's not to recover the facility, because what we need is the material. And currently, as Mr. Nick had put it, the reason why you see some material has gone high. I remember a time back, we used to buy polythene at 2 shillings. Mr. Nick, I don't know if you remember. 2 shillings.
Yeah.
2 shillings, polythene. That is LD, 2 shillings per kilo. Not very long ago, I come to the PET. PET was going at around 2 shillings, 3 shillings, and nobody wanted it. It was all over. You know the current price of this material, it has even gone higher than plastic. Currently it is 45 per kilo. Yes. Take it to the recycler, you will get this at 45. That is at the when you take it to the recycler. Currently Coca-Cola is partnering with Mr. Green to recycle their plastic waste to make other materials like this. So we are projecting this one is likely to go higher to around 60 or 70 from 2 shillings. Can you just imagine? So with time, these materials are becoming valuable, and we just get to know how to get them. That is why when it talks about MRF, we are able now to see how can we now get such material that we can recycle from that end. So this is something that the members can discuss, because we are doing this thing country. I don't think it's only Nairobi, right? So whenever we have a forum, maybe around that region, it's something that we can discuss at length. Is that okay? And the other aspect was on duplication of licenses, what we've done. Maybe I'll react on the caps. Maybe I didn't get the question on the caps. Yes. Maybe I didn't get the question on the caps. I just
Do you issue the CAP certificates?
Okay, CAPs, their certification, because currently the main challenge, I think that is what we are also fighting here, is to exempt us from the VAT. Especially now that we've made recycled product, dump-proof material, the DPM. You want to sell DPM, then someone's tell you take a sample to KEBS, ensure it is certified, you sell it through VAT, you see all those. But then KEBS is a different entity again, but what can do, the only thing that maybe I can advise is that it is not a rocket science. KEBS is just along, it's in Bellevue along in South Sea. If you just walk in with a sample, they should be able to give you a certification. It should not be something that is difficult, so long as it meets the test requirement. And the other challenge is that the machineries that we use, maybe some of them are not brand new, and they are not able to produce the quality that KEBS considers to be of standard. I'm not saying that we are producing substandard, but trust me, if you take samples, they'll tell you maybe there's an element that you don't meet the requirement. But it's something that can be worked around. And the advantage of these organizations is that if you have bodies, we are organized the way we are, we can now have representatives who can speak on our behalf, and it could be easy. So that so long as you are a member, we can assist in terms of getting such certification. Then maybe the second last, if I captured them right, was on the duplication, what we are doing about it, where you have the county, Kiambu, where and where. We've tried so much. The other time we had a meeting with the governor for Nairobi, and the rates sometimes were revised. Like you see for transport license, there's a time it came up to around 10,000. The same time, others had paid 15 or 20,000, but currently as we speak, it was brought down to around 10,000. Though this also fluctuates. It depends on who owns office at that particular time, because this is more of a political position rather than administrative position that the Constitution was really advocating for. So in terms of name again, we've also rallied, and this is something they had mentioned. They will try to unify so that we can have, if it is a transport license, it is only NEMA or county government to issue. So that we don't have both NEMA and county government. But unfortunately, all these have not been, have not materialized. But there are things that we've always raised, and we are hoping that with the more regulations that are coming in, they can be sneaked in to ensure that is captured. Because you see the regulation we are using for 2006, we only have a Sustainable Waste Management Act, but there are no regulations that can really compel and say that you need to do this and that. And that is why you see it's not functional up to date. And we are still using the 2006 regulations. But you see, county government came after 2010. And the county government's aim is to raise revenue, whichever way. How is to raise pesa itatoka wapi? How do we get money? whether siku wamsikia wamesota kwenda kushika watu the whole day, that is how maybe they see unapelekwa kotini, then of course you know when you are taken to their court, obviously I arrest you, I take you to my court, then I judge you. What do you expect? There's no justice. The only thing is that you pay. To them, justice and compliance is paying. It is all about money. So those are some of the gaps. The final thing was on the requirements for a transfer station. It's a bit lengthy because it takes like a whole process, like a topic that I would teach in 1 hour or so. But maybe I'll just brief in 3 minutes or so. The responsibility. So in terms of EIA, as I had mentioned, we have different categories. Of course, we have different facilities. We have low risk, we have medium risk, we have high risk. For low risk facilities, this is where we have the transfer stations, MRFs. Also, we have other recycling facilities that are of low risk. Other recycling facilities are of medium risk, based on what they emit. Others are of high risk. High risk is now where we have incinerators, we have boilers where such are involved. Those are the ones that we have as high risk. So most of us, I think, we fall under either low risk or medium risk. So in this case, the main requirement, number one, for you to succeed, ensure you contract a qualified and competent expert. Sure, whoever you contract to conduct the report for you is qualified and is also competent to do that job. And then for a client, you have to ensure you have either a copy of the title deed under your name or the name of the organization. Or if you don't have that, then have a copy of the title deed of the owner and a copy of a lease agreement. And also ensure that your site location is far away from residential, or it also meet other criteria of coming up with such a report. Then the rest, the expert should be able to advise. So long as you have those two, those are the two major requirements that I know, the location and the title deed. Those are the two major requirements that once you have, then the expert should be able to guide and assist you. We've seen cases where applications, maybe someone has made an application, it has back and forth. You take the application, submit, you are asked, you didn't submit this. When you submit that, you are asked another one. When you do that, another one. Those are some of the delaying tactics that I know, the push and pull that sometimes exist. So if all these are addressed, then it should not be a big issue to obtain a permit. And should we have challenges, please just feel free to contact. You can as well go to NEMAS for the list of experts, contact whoever you want to contact. If you need referrals, you can ask. If you can contract me, you contract me, I'll also still do that, and so on and so forth. So that we ensure that whatever is the requirement has been attached to the portal for application. Mr. Nick, I don't know if I answered that. Unless there's any issue that I didn't answer well, or someone didn't get contented. Yes.
What about if you don't have a entity and you have a location?
A location number.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. From the chief. That can be a little bit contentious. From the chief. I know.
Like a self-help program.
Yes.
Government so they can just give permission.
I know there are those also, like I know I have one client I've audited. He has a scrapyard along river line.
Yes.
River line. You also. Yes. That one is possible. If you have that and it is written and stamped, that one can be used. You can obtain a license with that. Yes, it is possible. Thank you.
What?
Thank you so much, Caleb. We appreciate the comprehensive response to the questions. So I know our time is up and our lunch is ready. But I have two requests before we get to Maggie. Maggie should be responding to some questions from the members. So if you've not signed in that form, kindly ensure you've signed. And again, as Maggie responds to the questions, I request if you can wear a t-shirt, it will be fine, or a cap. We'll take a group photo here as we officially launch this conversation. So after Maggie will do a photo and then Richard will give us closing remarks. we break for lunch as we go home. So welcome, Maggie.
Yes, are we together? Nataka respond for 2 questions or 3 that have been asked. There's somebody who has thought about the transport. Our chairman, Mwanakenika, shall look on that. So I want to go straight away to the way somebody can join the circle. As I said, KAWR circle is for the people who are dealing with waste. So for somebody to join the circle, one must be 18 years of age. That person must have an ID, identity card. The person must be of sound mind. A person can join as an individual, or you can join as a corporate. For example, most of us here, we have our companies. We can join even as a corporate membership. And then from there is money that we said somebody is supposed to pay. That is 5,000 as a deposit or as a registration. And that money, once it is paid, we say that that money cannot be refunded, but it can only be transferred to another member. Then there's a question of exit. When somebody wants to exit from the circle or cease to be a member, because somebody asked that, suppose you recruit our employees and then maybe that employee decides to leave the company. So there is the exit clause. There are various ways when somebody can leave the circle. But in this case, let us talk about our employees, because we are going to recruit them and become the members, or those people that we buy materials from them. For somebody to be no longer a member of the circle, first of all, you must have cleared your loan if you have given you the loan, because you cannot leave the circle once you have the loan. And then you have to write a letter that takes 60 days or 2 months, so that you can be able to refund back your shares. I don't know whether I've answered the question properly, madam. Yeah, that's how somebody can leave the circle.
So once you enter as a corporate, do you remove only the 5,000 and 5,000 for each of the?
Now, if you decide to enter as a corporate, you see the individual member, the amount of money that an individual member can pay is not the same with a corporate member. So I hope our chairman and the committee members are going to sit down and decide how much we shall charge the corporate member. Isn't it, Chairman? Yes. Yeah. But from an individual member, the entrance fee or the money that you can pay to become a member is 5,000. That money, because when a circle is started, the money is contributed by the members for that circle to grow. We don't have any other source of the money. We are the people who are going to raise the money so that we can be able to move on as we invite other people to come and join us. Sawa? Yeah, thank you very much.
Wow, let's appreciate Maggie. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Richard, you will give a closing remark, and we'll have a photo here. So we line up here and put some chairs here to have a group photo.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, my good friends and colleagues. I think we are getting to the end of this. Thank you for the questions, and I hope we got the answers correctly. So, me, I don't know whether to repeat again that I'm very glad for your time. Thank you very much. There was a question on the association, I don't remember, but I think Mr. Hawkins touched a bit on the need for us to embrace the compliance collectively. I think it is going to be cheaper for us, even in terms of engaging the government, NEMA, on matters, licenses. And then, of course, there was that bit about the SACCO, transport. Maybe, Bwana Nick, you can speak from where you are as I put on my t-shirt, and then we align for the photos. Thank you very much again.
Very quickly, I think there is a big interest in transportation, and I'm just requesting you must take advantage of the SACCO. Our KAWR SACCO, we are coming up with the last year of transport, so that through this SACCO, all our trucks can be enrolled in that SACCO. We will issue a uniform stickers for all the vehicles, and even going forward, we can use this SACCO to proclaim or to bring our cases to Hawkins with our expert and name all together, so that we can even negotiate that extension clause as an association through the SACCO. So there is already an initiative on, and I expect all of us to join the SACCO so that we can create the transport affiliation and make our business. Thank you so much.
So ni kupigwa picha na kwenda nyumbani, ndio? But we are eating.
Kwenda lunch. So I request if you can push these tables like behind to create some space.